Think about how much of your daily life depends on just 4 areas: the way you speak, the way you think, the way you handle your emotions, and the way you manage your money. If any one of these is out of balance, it shows up quickly in your relationships, in your peace of mind, in your opportunities, and even in your future stability. Most people struggle in at least one of these areas, and often it's the reason they feel stuck, drained, or frustrated. The good news is that every one of these skills can be learned, practiced, and improved no matter where you're starting from. In this video, we'll explore how to control your mouth, your mind, your mood, and your money in ways that make you stronger, calmer, and more prepared for whatever life puts in front of you. You'll learn why the words you choose can build or break trust, how your thoughts shape the results you get, why managing your emotions quickly keeps you steady, and how smart decisions with money can bring you security instead of stress. These aren't abstract ideas, they're daily practices you can start using right away. Imagine being able to walk away from an argument without regret, stay focused instead of distracted, recover from setbacks without breaking down, and feel confident about the financial choices you're making. That's what this journey is about. Stay with me until the end, because the simple adjustments we're going to discuss can change the way you experience your life every single day. This is not about quick fixes, it's about building the discipline and mindset that carry you toward lasting success. Chapter 1. Master your words and speak with clarity every day. Words are the first doorway through which people experience who you are. They shape how others perceive you, but more importantly, they reveal the state of your own mind and the level of discipline you live by. Every sentence you speak can either lift you forward or drag you backward. When you speak with clarity, people trust you more, respect you more, and listen to you more. When your words are careless, they weaken your presence, create misunderstandings, and slowly erode the image you build. To master your words is to master an essential part of your life, because words are not just sound, they are power, and they carry consequences that live far beyond the moment they are spoken. If you want to take control of your life, you must begin by taking control of your tongue. This is not about silencing yourself or becoming overly cautious. It is about learning how to speak with intention, with discipline, and with a sense of responsibility. The difference between a life that grows and a life that falls apart often begins with what is said and how it is said. The careless insult, the thoughtless complaint, the reckless promise, all of these create damage that cannot always be repaired. On the other hand, the encouraging word, the honest but respectful correction, the thoughtful response, these build trust, open doors, and create opportunities. Clarity in speech is clarity in thought. A person who cannot express themselves clearly often has not trained their mind to think clearly. Your words are the reflection of your mind. If you fill your mind with confusion, distraction, and noise, your words will follow the same path. If you train your mind with discipline, patience, and focus, your words will reveal that strength. This is why mastering speech is not only about the tongue, it is about the mind behind the tongue. A clear mind produces clear words. To master your words, you must first learn to slow down. Most people speak too quickly, not in terms of speed alone, but in terms of reaction. They respond without thinking, argue without reflection, and make promises without weighing the cost. When you slow down before speaking, you give yourself the space to choose the right words instead of being enslaved by the wrong ones. The pause before speaking is one of the most powerful tools a person can develop. That small silence protects relationships, prevents unnecessary conflict, and keeps your dignity intact. Think about how many arguments have escalated because someone said something in the heat of the moment that they could never take back. Think about how many friendships and marriages have been destroyed, not by one great betrayal, but by years of careless words spoken without thought. The tongue can wound as deeply as any weapon, and unlike physical wounds, verbal wounds are carried in the mind long after the moment has passed. Mastery of words means avoiding this destruction by refusing to let the mouth run ahead of the mind. There is also another side to this. Words can heal. They can inspire. They can make someone feel seen, valued, and strong again. One sincere word of encouragement at the right moment can change the entire direction of a person's day, sometimes even their life. To master words is not only about avoiding harm, it is also about using your speech as a tool for building. A disciplined speaker knows when to speak comfort, when to offer encouragement, when to speak truth with firmness, and when to remain silent. That balance creates trust. Clarity in words means saying exactly what you mean without hiding behind vagueness or exaggeration. Many people weaken their credibility by speaking in unclear ways. They exaggerate, they overpromise, they use words carelessly without realizing that others remember what they say. Over time, this makes them unreliable. If you say something, mean it. If you do not intend to follow through, do not say it. Discipline with words creates integrity, and integrity builds influence. To practice this in daily life, begin by examining the words you use most often. Pay attention to your common expressions. Do you complain frequently without realizing it? Do you use harsh language when you are frustrated? Do you interrupt others because you are too eager to give your own opinion? These habits weaken your presence and reduce the respect people have for you. Replace them with habits of respect. Practice listening fully before responding. Train yourself to speak calmly, even when annoyed. Replace careless phrases with precise ones. Over time, these small changes create mastery. Another essential practice is to keep your words consistent with your actions. Nothing damages respect faster than a person whose words say one thing but whose actions show another. Do not promise to do something unless you are ready to commit to it fully. Do not exaggerate stories to make yourself look greater. Do not use words to impress people in ways you cannot back up with results. When your words and your actions align, you build a solid reputation. People will listen to you not just because of what you say, but because they trust that you mean what you say. Self-control is the foundation of mastering speech. This means resisting the urge to speak when silence would serve better. Many people believe they must always give an opinion, but wisdom is often found in restraint. Silence can show strength. When you refuse to engage in gossip, arguments, or empty talk, you preserve your energy for things that matter. People who control their words are often respected more than those who speak endlessly, but say very little of value. There is also a need for kindness in speech. Harsh words spoken in anger may feel satisfying in the moment, but they leave behind bitterness. Kindness, however, costs nothing and creates goodwill wherever it is applied. This does not mean you must avoid honesty or avoid difficult conversations. It means you deliver truth with respect. Correct someone firmly but respectfully. Express disappointment without insulting. Give feedback in a way that guides, not destroys. The discipline of kindness in speech is one of the greatest strengths a person can develop. Practical exercises help turn these ideas into habits. Start with one daily practice. Choose silence for 1 hour each day, except when absolutely necessary. Use that time to observe the conversations around you and notice how often people speak carelessly. Then, reflect on how you would improve their words if you were in their place. This trains awareness. Another practice is to write down your thoughts before expressing them in important conversations. This prevents confusion and sharpens your clarity. Another exercise is to replace one negative phrase with a positive one each day. For example, instead of saying, "I can't do this," say, "I will find a way." Instead of saying, "This always goes wrong," say, "I will improve this step by step." Over time, your language reshapes your perspective and strengthens your resilience. Your words influence not only others, but also yourself. The way you speak to yourself becomes the way you believe about yourself. Mastering words is also about listening deeply. Most people listen only to respond, not to understand. True clarity in speech comes from listening fully and then answering with thoughtfulness. When you listen carefully, your words naturally become more relevant, more focused, and more impactful. People will notice this difference because true listening is rare. To master words, you must master the art of giving your full attention to others. There is also an element of discipline in avoiding unnecessary talk. Many people weaken their influence by speaking too much about things that do not matter. The more you speak, the greater the chance of saying something careless. The disciplined person chooses words with purpose, speaks less but with greater impact, and avoids the noise of endless chatter. In this way, their words carry more weight because when they speak, others listen. Consider the power of promises. When you make a promise, even a small one, you create an expectation in someone else's mind. If you fail to fulfill it, you weaken trust. Therefore, treat promises with the seriousness they deserve. Do not speak them lightly. If you give your word, make it unbreakable. This kind of discipline builds respect and strengthens relationships in ways that casual speech never can. It is also important to examine the tone of your voice. The same words spoken in a harsh tone can create conflict, while spoken calmly, they can create peace. Your tone reveals your mood, your respect for others, and your level of discipline. Practice controlling your tone, especially when you are under stress. Speak calmly, firmly, and respectfully, even in moments of pressure. This creates authority without aggression and respect without fear. To live by mastery of words is to live with constant awareness. Every day presents opportunities to practice. The workplace conversation, the family disagreement, the casual talk with a friend, the self-talk you engage in silently. Each of these is a test of your discipline. If you fail, reflect on it without shame and commit to doing better. If you succeed, recognize the strength you are building. Day by day, you refine your words, and in doing so, you refine your character. As you grow in this practice, you will notice changes. People will respond to you differently. They will listen more attentively. They will take your words more seriously. Conflicts will reduce. Respect will increase. You will feel greater confidence because you know that what you say is thoughtful, clear, and aligned with your values. Mastering your words is not a small change. It reshapes the way you live, the way you influence, and the way you are remembered. In the end, the discipline of speaking with clarity is not about controlling others. It is about controlling yourself. It is about living in such a way that your words become tools of growth, not weapons of harm. It is about creating a life where your speech reflects wisdom, integrity, and self-control. When you master your words, you create a foundation of respect, trust, and strength that carries into every other area of your life. So speak less but with greater meaning. Think before responding. Use words to build, not destroy. Align what you say with what you do. Deliver truth with respect. Choose silence when speech adds no value. This is the path to mastering your words. And by mastering your words, you begin the larger journey of mastering your life. Chapter 2. Strengthen your thoughts and train your mind for focus. Your mind is the control center of your life, and the strength of your thoughts determines the strength of your actions. If your mind is weak, easily distracted, and filled with noise, your life will reflect that disorder. If your thoughts are trained, focused, and guided with discipline, your decisions will be sharper, your emotions steadier, and your progress greater. The truth is simple: you cannot live a strong life with an undisciplined mind. Every achievement, every step forward, every meaningful change begins first in the way you think. Strengthening your thoughts is not about forcing yourself to think positively all the time. It is about learning how to direct your mental energy toward what serves you instead of what weakens you. Most people allow their thoughts to wander without control. They wake up with worry, carry fear through the day, and end the night replaying old mistakes. This cycle drains focus and creates exhaustion before any real work even begins. To take control of your mind, you must first take responsibility for what you allow into it. Every thought has power. If you fill your mind with doubt, your choices will be hesitant. If you fill it with clarity, your actions will be firm. This is why training your mind is a daily practice. It is not something achieved in a single day. It is built like strength in the body, through consistent effort. One of the first steps in strengthening your thoughts is becoming aware of them. Too often, people think automatically without noticing the quality of their thinking. They move through life in reaction instead of intention. Start by observing your thoughts. Notice what fills your mind when you are alone, when you are stressed, or when you are waiting in silence. Do you create solutions in your mind, or do you create problems that do not exist? Do you think about opportunities, or do you dwell only on fears? The thoughts you allow most often shape your outlook, and your outlook shapes your results. Focus comes when you learn to eliminate mental clutter. Every distraction you allow into your mind steals energy from what truly matters. Scrolling endlessly through meaningless content, arguing about things that have no value, filling your time with gossip and negativity, these habits scatter your mind. A scattered mind cannot focus, and a mind that cannot focus cannot achieve. To train your thoughts, remove what weakens them. Simplify what you consume. Be selective about what you read, what you watch, and who you spend time with. The quality of your focus depends on the quality of your input. Once distractions are reduced, the next step is directing your mind toward a clear purpose. A strong mind does not wander aimlessly. It knows where it is going. Every day, give your thoughts a target, decide what matters most, and align your attention with it. This could be finishing an important project, learning a new skill, or improving your health. Whatever it is, let your thoughts circle back to it throughout the day. By bringing your focus again and again to what matters, you strengthen your ability to concentrate. Just like a muscle grows stronger through repeated use, your focus grows stronger when you repeatedly train it to return to your priorities. Another key to strengthening your mind is self-discipline. Discipline in thought means refusing to dwell on things you cannot change. It means redirecting your attention when your mind drifts toward envy, regret, or resentment. It means choosing to think about solutions instead of problems, effort instead of excuses, growth instead of stagnation. Discipline does not come naturally. It is built through repetition. Each time you take control of a wandering thought and replace it with a useful one, you strengthen your mental focus. Each time you resist dwelling on negativity, you gain a little more mastery over your mind. Training your mind also requires learning how to be still. Many people are uncomfortable with silence because in silence they face their thoughts directly. But stillness is where clarity grows. Take a few moments each day to sit quietly without distraction. Close your eyes and breathe slowly. Notice your thoughts, and then gently bring your focus to one idea, one problem you want to solve, or one goal you want to achieve. This practice builds focus like exercise builds strength. Over time, you will find it easier to direct your thoughts instead of being dragged by them. Your mind also strengthens when you feed it with knowledge. Read books that challenge you, study ideas that expand your perspective, and spend time with people who think deeply. Just as your body weakens without good food, your mind weakens without good information. Do not waste your energy on shallow distractions. Invest it in learning. The more you learn, the more material your mind has to work with, and the stronger your thoughts become. A trained mind can take knowledge and turn it into action. Another important part of training your thoughts is controlling self-talk. The words you repeat to yourself shape your belief system. If you constantly tell yourself you are tired, unlucky, or incapable, your mind begins to accept it as truth. Replace that with disciplined self-talk. Tell yourself you are capable of focus, that you are building strength, that you are improving every day. This is not empty positivity. It is a conscious decision to train your mind to believe in progress instead of defeat. The more you repeat it, the more natural it becomes, and the stronger your thoughts grow. Strength of mind also comes from facing challenges instead of avoiding them. Each difficulty you overcome becomes a test that trains your focus. When life becomes stressful, most people scatter their thoughts in panic, but stress is also an opportunity. If you can calm your thoughts in the middle of difficulty, you gain real strength. Train yourself to pause, breathe, and think clearly when problems arise. Ask yourself what you can control and direct your energy there. This practice not only improves focus, but also builds resilience. A strong mind is not one that avoids problems, but one that remains steady through them. You will also strengthen your thoughts by training your ability to concentrate deeply on one task at a time. Multitasking weakens the mind. When you divide your attention into too many parts, you achieve less in each. Choose instead to give your full focus to one thing until it is complete. When you read, read fully. When you work, work without distraction. When you talk to someone, give them your full attention. This discipline strengthens the mind because it teaches your thoughts to stay on track instead of scattering in all directions. It is also vital to protect your mind from negative influence. If you constantly surround yourself with people who complain, doubt, and criticize, your thoughts will reflect that. Guard your environment. Surround yourself with those who push you higher, who challenge your thinking, and who respect discipline. Your mind becomes stronger when it is sharpened by others who value growth. Choose your circle wisely because your focus depends on the company you keep. Strengthening your thoughts is not about perfection. You will still have moments of distraction, fear, and weakness. The goal is not to eliminate them entirely, but to recover quickly when they come. A strong mind does not remain lost in negativity. It returns quickly to clarity. Each time you redirect your thoughts back to what matters, you add another layer of strength. Over time, this becomes natural. Your mind learns that focus is the default, not distraction. In building this kind of mental strength, patience is essential. Just as a body cannot become strong in one day, neither can the mind. Progress comes through small daily practices, repeated consistently. Do not look for sudden transformation. Look for gradual improvement. Each day that you train your thoughts is a day you move closer to mastery. Each moment you choose focus over distraction is a victory. Over months and years, these small victories build a mind that is disciplined, sharp, and unshakable. When you strengthen your thoughts and train your mind for focus, you open the door to every other area of growth. You make better decisions. You protect your mood. You increase your productivity. You control your habits. You create the life you want instead of living in reaction to the world around you. The strength of your mind is the foundation of the strength of your life. If you train it daily, there is no limit to what you can achieve. Chapter 3. Build emotional control and choose peace over anger. Anger is one of the strongest emotions, and when it is uncontrolled, it destroys peace, relationships, and even health. It can erupt suddenly and leave behind damage that takes years to repair. When anger controls you, it blinds your judgment, pushes you to say things you do not mean, and drives you into actions you later regret. To build emotional control is to take away that power from anger and replace it with calm strength. Choosing peace over anger is not a sign of weakness. It is the highest form of self-mastery. Anyone can lose control when provoked, but only the disciplined can remain steady, calm, and centered when challenged. Every person faces situations that stir frustration. People will disappoint you. Circumstances will not always go your way, and life will present injustices. The difference between those who crumble and those who rise lies in how they respond. If you choose anger, you give power to the very thing that disturbed you. If you choose peace, you protect your mind and preserve your strength. Emotional control does not mean you never feel anger. It means you notice it, acknowledge it, and then decide not to let it take over. The first step in building this control is awareness. Many people explode without even realizing how their anger is rising. They react instantly, as if they have no choice, but you always have a choice. The moment you feel your heart rate quicken, your voice grow louder, or your thoughts racing toward hostility, that is your signal. Awareness gives you a chance to step back before the damage is done. Train yourself to recognize these signals early so you can take control before anger takes control of you. Once you notice anger rising, create space between the feeling and your response. This space is where peace is chosen. Count slowly in your mind, step away from the situation, or simply remain silent for a few moments. In that space, breathe deeply. A deep breath signals your body to slow down, and slowing down gives your mind a chance to think clearly. This small delay can prevent a harmful outburst and keep you steady when everything around you is tense. Another important part of controlling anger is changing how you interpret situations. Often, anger is fueled not by what happens, but by the meaning we attach to it. If someone cuts you off in traffic, you might think, they disrespected me, and anger rises. But if you tell yourself, they might be in a hurry, I don't understand, peace remains possible. You cannot always control events, but you can control your perspective. By choosing interpretations that reduce hostility instead of feeding it, you train your emotions to remain balanced. Resentment is another form of anger that poisons the mind slowly. Holding on to grudges does not punish the other person. It punishes you. The longer you carry resentment, the heavier it becomes, weighing down your energy and clouding your thoughts. Emotional control requires letting go. Forgiveness does not mean agreeing with what was done. It means refusing to let past harm keep harming you in the present. When you release resentment, you free your mind to focus on growth instead of bitterness. A powerful practice for building control is replacing reaction with reflection. When something angers you, ask yourself a few questions. Will this matter a week from now? Is this worth losing my peace? Am I gaining anything by being angry? These questions create clarity. Most of the time, the answer reveals that anger is not worth the cost. With reflection, you begin to see anger not as strength, but as wasted energy, and you choose peace because it keeps you in command. Emotional control also requires humility. Anger often grows from pride, the belief that everything must go your way, that people must treat you exactly as you expect, that life owes you fairness at all times. When reality challenges that pride, anger erupts. Humility dissolves this. It accepts that people are imperfect, mistakes will happen, and not everything is under your control. With humility, frustration loses its fuel, and peace becomes easier to maintain. Daily habits strengthen emotional stability. Begin each day by centering your mind before you face the world. Spend a few minutes in silence, breathe slowly, and set the intention to remain calm no matter what happens. During the day, when challenges come, remind yourself of this commitment. At night, reflect on moments you lost control and moments you maintained it. Learn from both. Over time, these small practices build lasting mastery. Your environment also influences your emotional state. If you surround yourself with people who are quick to anger, it becomes harder to remain calm. If you live in constant stress without rest, irritation rises easily. Protect your environment by choosing relationships and routines that promote balance. Seek out people who remain calm under pressure because their steadiness will strengthen yours. Create daily routines that give your mind space to rest. Exercise, reading, or time outdoors all help build emotional resilience. Another key to choosing peace over anger is controlling your words in heated moments. Anger pushes people to say things that cannot be taken back. Train yourself to remain silent when you feel the urge to lash out. Use calm, measured words only after your emotions have settled. Words spoken in peace carry more power than words shouted in rage. They preserve respect, reduce conflict, and show strength in ways anger never can. Building emotional control also means paying attention to your physical state. Lack of sleep, poor diet, and neglecting exercise weaken your ability to handle stress. When your body is exhausted, your patience is shorter, and anger rises faster. Taking care of your physical health strengthens your emotional stability. A well-rested, healthy body provides the foundation for a calm and balanced mind. It is also useful to recognize triggers. Everyone has specific situations, people or topics that ignite anger more quickly. Identify yours and prepare in advance. If certain conversations escalate easily, plan how you will handle them with calm responses. If certain people provoke you, limit your exposure when possible, or prepare yourself mentally before interacting. By knowing your triggers, you reduce the chances of being caught off guard. Choosing peace is not about avoiding strong emotions, it is about using them wisely. Anger can reveal when something is unjust, but it must be directed into constructive action, not destructive outbursts. Instead of shouting, you can calmly assert your boundaries. Instead of bottling up frustration, you can communicate it respectfully. Instead of reacting blindly, you can channel the energy of anger into problem solving. In this way, anger is transformed from chaos into fuel for growth. Another valuable habit is practicing patience. Impatience often feeds anger. The inability to wait, the urge for instant results, the frustration when things take longer than expected. These open the door to irritation. Patience is a shield. It allows you to endure delay, accept imperfection, and continue moving forward without agitation. By practicing patience daily, whether in traffic, in conversations, or in personal goals, you strengthen your control over anger. It is important to remember that peace is not weakness. Many believe that holding back anger makes them seem passive or powerless, but the opposite is true. Anyone can explode when provoked, but it takes true strength to remain steady. The calm person is not the one without power, they are the one with the most power, because they are not ruled by their emotions. Peace is strength under control, and it commands greater respect than anger ever will. When you live with emotional control, every part of your life improves. Your relationships become stronger because people feel safe around you. Your decisions become clearer because you are not clouded by rage. Your health improves because stress no longer dominates your body. Most importantly, you gain inner freedom, the ability to face challenges without being imprisoned by emotion. That freedom is one of the greatest victories a person can achieve. Every day provides opportunities to practice. Someone will test your patience. Something will not go as planned. Anger will try to rise. In those moments, you have a choice. Surrender to anger or stand with peace. Each time you choose peace, you build a little more strength. Over weeks and months, this becomes part of who you are. The calm you once struggled to hold becomes your natural state. That is true mastery, when peace is not a performance, but a habit, not an effort, but a way of being. The journey to emotional control is lifelong, but every step counts. Each deep breath, each moment of restraint, each decision to let go instead of lash out, builds the foundation of a stronger, calmer self. Anger will still appear, but it no longer has to rule you. Peace will become your guide, and with peace you will face life with clarity, strength, and dignity. That is the reward of mastering emotion, and it is a reward worth striving for every day. Chapter 4. Develop wise spending habits and protect your financial future. Money is one of the most influential forces in life, and the way you use it determines not only your present comfort, but also your future security. Many people work hard for years, yet they never achieve stability because they lack discipline with spending. They allow impulse, habit, and outside pressure to control how they use their resources, and as a result, they live in constant financial stress. To live with freedom and peace of mind, you must develop wise spending habits and protect your financial future. This requires discipline, patience, and clear priorities. It is not about depriving yourself of everything you enjoy, but about learning how to direct your money in ways that build strength instead of weakness. The first step is to recognize that every purchase is a decision about your future. Each time you spend, you are either building security or draining it. Small daily choices matter just as much as large ones. People often believe that only big expenses ruin their finances, but daily careless spending slowly adds up to the same damage. The coffee you buy every morning without thought, the subscription you never use, the small luxuries you grab impulsively, all of these create a slow leak in your financial life. By becoming more conscious of where your money goes, you gain the power to redirect it toward what truly matters. Awareness is the foundation of wise spending. Start by tracking every expense. Write it down or use a simple tool, but make sure you see exactly where your money flows. Most people underestimate how much they spend because they do not measure it. When you track your spending for a month, you often discover hidden patterns. You may realize that a large portion of your income disappears into things that do not add real value to your life. Awareness gives you control, and without it, you will always be guessing. Once you see where your money is going, the next step is to separate wants from needs. Needs are things essential for survival and stability: food, shelter, healthcare, education, and basic utilities. Wants are the extras that provide comfort or pleasure, but are not necessary for a secure life. The problem arises when wants consume more money than needs, leaving little for savings or future planning. By clearly identifying the difference, you can make conscious choices. This does not mean denying every want, but it does mean giving priority to needs and limiting unnecessary indulgence. Another principle of wise spending is planning before you purchase. Impulse spending is one of the greatest enemies of financial growth. Advertisements, social pressure, and emotional triggers push people to buy things they never planned for. Before making a purchase, pause and ask yourself if it truly serves your goals. Ask if you would still want it after waiting a week. Many desires fade quickly once the emotion passes, By delaying gratification, you filter out wasteful spending and reserve your money for things of real value. Budgeting is a tool that turns intention into action. A budget is not a restriction but a plan for how you choose to use your income. Without one, money slips away without direction. With one, every dollar has a purpose. A strong budget allocates money first to essential needs, then to savings, then to responsible spending. It ensures that you live within your means and avoid debt traps. The discipline of budgeting protects you from financial chaos and provides a clear map toward your goals. Savings must always be treated as a priority, not an afterthought. Too many people save only what remains after spending, which often ends up being nothing. The wiser approach is to save before spending. Decide a percentage of your income that will always go into savings, no matter what. Treat it like a non-negotiable expense. Even if the amount seems small at first, consistency builds strength over time. A habit of saving creates security, reduces anxiety, and prepares you for opportunities when they come. Protecting your financial future also means preparing for unexpected events. Emergencies will happen. Medical bills, sudden repairs, or loss of income. Without preparation, these can create heavy debt and long-term setbacks. Building an emergency fund is essential. Start with a small goal and gradually grow it until it can cover several months of expenses. Knowing you are prepared for the unexpected gives you confidence and prevents panic in difficult times. Another habit of wise spending is resisting lifestyle inflation. As people earn more, they often increase their spending at the same rate, leaving themselves no better off than before. The key to building wealth is maintaining discipline even as income grows. If you keep your lifestyle modest and continue saving as your earnings rise, your financial future strengthens much faster. Avoid the trap of buying more only to impress others or to keep up with trends. True success is measured by security and freedom, not by outward display. It is also important to spend with intention on things that align with your values. Money is a tool, and it should be directed toward what truly improves your life. Invest in your health, in education, in experiences that bring growth, and in relationships that matter. Spending on these areas is not waste. It is building a foundation for a meaningful life. On the other hand, money spent only to satisfy temporary desires or to impress others often leaves you empty afterward. By aligning spending with values, you ensure that every dollar contributes to your growth. Debt is another danger that must be managed with wisdom. Not all debt is destructive. Some, like a reasonable home loan or education loan, can be considered investments if handled carefully. But high-interest debt from credit cards or unnecessary loans is a trap that drains your financial energy. Avoid it as much as possible. If you already have such debt, make a plan to pay it off steadily and refuse to add to it. The less you owe, the more freedom you have. Wise spending always considers the long-term cost, not just the immediate desire. Another powerful strategy for protecting your financial future is to automate good habits. Set up automatic transfers to savings accounts, retirement funds, or debt payments. This removes the need for constant decision-making and ensures progress even when motivation is low. Automation creates consistency, and consistency is the foundation of financial strength. At the same time, discipline does not mean you must never enjoy your money. The purpose of wise spending is not only to secure the future, but also to allow a balanced life. Plan for enjoyment within limits. Set aside a small portion of your income for things that bring you joy. When enjoyment is budgeted and controlled, it enhances life without creating regret. Balance is the key. Too much restriction creates frustration, while too much indulgence creates instability. Learning to say no is also part of wise spending. Society constantly pushes you to buy more, upgrade, and consume endlessly. Friends and family may pressure you into spending on things that do not align with your priorities. The strength to say no protects your financial future. You do not need to explain every choice. Your commitment to your goals is reason enough. Each no to unnecessary spending is a yes to stability and security. The mindset you carry toward money also shapes your habits. If you see money only as something to spend, it will disappear quickly. If you see it as a tool for building, you will treat it with respect. Shift your thinking from "how can I spend this" to "how can I make this work for me?" That shift alone transforms your relationship with money. Every day offers choices that either build or weaken your financial future. When you choose wisely, even small decisions create long-term security. When you act carelessly, even high income cannot protect you. Wealth is not only about how much you earn, but about how well you manage what you have. Discipline in spending creates freedom, while recklessness creates chains. The reward of wise spending habits is more than financial numbers. It is the peace of mind that comes from knowing you are prepared, the confidence of living without constant stress, and the freedom to make choices without fear. It allows you to focus on building your life instead of worrying about survival. With discipline today, you protect your tomorrow, and that protection is one of the greatest gifts you can give yourself and your loved ones. Chapter 5. Practice daily gratitude and transform your inner perspective. Gratitude has the power to shift the way a person experiences life, not by changing the outside world, but by transforming how it is perceived and received. When you practice gratitude consistently, it is like giving your mind new lenses through which to view your daily experiences. What once felt ordinary becomes meaningful, and what once felt heavy becomes lighter. Every day holds challenges, but gratitude provides you with the strength to face them without losing your sense of balance. It creates space between you and your struggles, reminding you that even in difficulty, there is something to be thankful for. This perspective does not ignore pain or deny hardship. Instead, it makes you resilient by highlighting the good that still exists alongside the difficulties. Gratitude is not just about saying thank you when something positive happens. It is a deliberate choice to recognize the value in moments that many overlook. It is found in the morning light streaming through the window, in the meal on the table, in the sound of a loved one's voice, or even in the breath that keeps you alive. These things are easily taken for granted, but when you begin to notice them with intention, your inner state shifts. The small irritations of life lose some of their weight, and your mind becomes calmer and clearer. Over time, this creates a steady inner foundation that allows you to handle life's bigger challenges with strength and grace. The practice of daily gratitude also affects how you relate to others. When you carry an appreciative mindset, people feel it in the way you speak and in the way you treat them. Your tone softens, your patience increases, and your relationships deepen. Instead of focusing on flaws and disappointments, you begin to see effort, kindness, and value in those around you. This creates stronger connections, not because people suddenly change, but because your perception of them does. By choosing gratitude, you allow space for compassion to grow, and this not only improves your relationships, but also reduces unnecessary conflict and tension. Gratitude strengthens mental clarity. The mind is often filled with constant noise, worries, comparisons, and expectations. Without awareness, this noise can drain your energy and distort your perspective. But when you pause each day to list what you are thankful for, you train your thoughts to focus on abundance instead of lack. The brain begins to search for positives automatically, which interrupts cycles of negativity. Over time, this becomes a mental habit, and you find that your energy is directed toward opportunities rather than complaints. The more gratitude you cultivate, the more disciplined your mind becomes in resisting destructive patterns of thought. A daily gratitude practice is also an anchor in times of uncertainty. Life will always bring unexpected turns, some of them painful and disruptive. Without inner stability, it is easy to become consumed by frustration or despair. Gratitude provides a steady point of reference, reminding you that even in darkness there is light. By grounding yourself in what remains good, you avoid being swept away by what is difficult. This practice does not erase hardship, but it equips you with the emotional resilience to carry it. In this way, gratitude becomes not just a feeling, but a form of strength that protects your peace of mind when life feels overwhelming. In practical terms, gratitude can be practiced in simple yet powerful ways. One method is keeping a daily journal where you write 3 things you appreciate about the day. Some days these may be big events, while other days they may be small comforts. The act of writing them down forces your mind to pause and reflect, turning fleeting moments into lasting reminders. Another method is silent reflection at the end of the day, replaying moments that brought you joy or relief. By focusing on these before sleep, you train your brain to end the day with peace rather than worry. Speaking gratitude out loud, either to yourself or to someone else, strengthens it even further, because words have power to reinforce your thoughts. Practicing gratitude also influences physical health. Studies have shown that those who regularly express appreciation experience lower stress levels, improved sleep, and stronger immune function. This happens because gratitude reduces the body's stress response and promotes calm. When you end your day with thoughts of appreciation instead of rumination, your body rests more deeply. When you wake up with thankfulness for the new day, your mood sets a positive tone that influences your energy and behavior. These physical benefits are not abstract. They show up in how you feel each day, making gratitude a tool not only for emotional wellness, but for overall health. Gratitude is also linked to financial peace. Many people chase more, believing happiness will arrive with the next purchase or raise. But gratitude teaches contentment by reminding you of what you already have. This does not mean you stop striving for improvement. It means your sense of worth and happiness are not dependent on what you lack. When you appreciate the resources you already possess, you make wiser financial decisions because you are not buying to fill emptiness. Instead, you spend with purpose, save with discipline, and invest with patience. Gratitude creates financial stability by freeing you from the trap of endless dissatisfaction. Choosing gratitude daily is not always easy. The mind naturally leans toward problems because it wants to protect you from harm. This survival instinct is useful, but can distort your perception if left unchecked. Gratitude is the counterbalance, training you to see the full picture, not just the struggles. Like any discipline, it requires effort. There will be mornings when you do not feel thankful, or days when problems seem to outweigh blessings, but that is when gratitude matters most. Practicing it in difficulty strengthens you more than practicing it in comfort. Over time, it becomes a discipline that no situation can take away from you. Gratitude transforms inner perspective by shifting focus from what is missing to what is present, from what went wrong to what went right, and from frustration to appreciation. This shift is not superficial. It alters the foundation of how you live. Instead of constantly reacting to circumstances, you begin to live with a sense of stability and peace. You become less controlled by moods and more guided by principles. This allows you to live with more joy, more patience, and more wisdom. The world outside may remain unpredictable, but the world inside becomes calm and steady. When gratitude is practiced daily, it grows into a way of life. It moves beyond isolated moments of thankfulness and becomes the lens through which you experience everything. Conversations become more meaningful because you notice the gift of connection. Work becomes more purposeful because you recognize the value of opportunity. Even challenges become teachers because you see the lessons they bring. Gratitude does not deny reality, it deepens it, allowing you to experience life fully without being weighed down by constant dissatisfaction. The choice to practice gratitude every day is ultimately a choice to live with strength and clarity. It transforms not just how you feel, but how you act, how you relate to others, and how you approach your future. It turns ordinary days into meaningful experiences and protects your peace even in times of struggle. The more you practice it, the more natural it becomes, until gratitude is no longer something you do but something you embody. At that point, your inner perspective is permanently transformed, and life, no matter how imperfect, feels richer and more worthwhile. Chapter 6. Set clear boundaries and stop toxic conversations immediately. There comes a point in life when you must realize that not every conversation deserves your presence, and not every person deserves access to your energy. Words are powerful, and they can either lift you higher or pull you down into unnecessary negativity. If you want to live a balanced life where your mouth, your mind, your mood, and your money are under your control, you must develop the courage to set boundaries and walk away from toxic conversations the moment they begin. Allowing yourself to remain in such discussions slowly drains your peace and wastes your valuable time. Every time you engage in gossip, complaining, or arguments that go nowhere, you are giving away pieces of your strength. Protecting yourself begins with recognizing which voices around you are constructive and which ones are destructive. Think about how often you have left a conversation feeling drained rather than uplifted. That feeling is your inner warning system telling you that you stayed too long where you did not belong. Respecting yourself means listening to that warning and responding to it without hesitation. You owe it to yourself to decide what kind of exchanges you allow in your daily life. When you set clear boundaries, you send a message to others and to yourself that your peace is not for sale and your energy is not a playground for other people's frustrations. Stopping toxic conversations immediately does not mean being rude or harsh. It means being firm, calm, and clear. You can excuse yourself politely, you can change the subject, or you can simply walk away without feeling guilty. Silence itself is a powerful boundary. When you refuse to fuel harmful discussions with your words, you are teaching people how to treat you. You are showing them that you value meaningful dialogue and refuse to invest your energy in negativity. Boundaries also protect your mental clarity. When you let yourself get pulled into draining discussions, your thoughts scatter and your focus suffers. Your mind becomes cluttered with the residue of conversations that had no benefit. But when you stand firm in your limits, your mind remains sharp. You are able to channel your focus into goals that matter rather than wasting it on words that lead nowhere. In this way, every boundary you set is an investment in your growth. It is important to understand that not everyone will respect your boundaries right away. Some people are used to having free access to your time and energy, and they will test your limits. You must stand strong, even when it feels uncomfortable. The first time you walk away from a toxic exchange, you may feel uncertain, but over time you will notice that you feel lighter, more peaceful, and more in control. Boundaries are not walls, they are doors, and you decide who enters and who stays outside. In daily life, this means being intentional with how you respond to negativity. When someone tries to drag you into gossip, you can respond with kindness, but firmly decline to participate. When a friend begins to complain endlessly without seeking solutions, you can gently shift the conversation toward something constructive or respectfully excuse yourself. When someone attempts to provoke you with anger, you can take a deep breath and remind yourself that you do not have to match their energy. In each of these situations, you reclaim your power by choosing peace over participation. Your self-respect grows every time you enforce your boundaries. You begin to realize that you no longer need to explain yourself to everyone. You do not have to justify why you choose silence over argument. Your life is too valuable to waste proving yourself in conversations that will never change the other person's mind. The only thing you truly control is your response, and by choosing wisely, you protect both your mood and your future. Boundaries also shape the quality of your relationships. When people know that you will not tolerate toxic behavior, they adjust the way they speak to you. Those who refuse to respect you will naturally drift away, and those who value your presence will rise to meet your standards. Over time, you will find yourself surrounded by healthier interactions simply because you dared to set the tone. You will no longer feel exhausted after social encounters, but instead nourished and uplifted. It is also worth remembering that toxic conversations are not only about others, they can also begin within you. The way you speak to yourself matters. If you constantly criticize yourself or replay negative thoughts in your mind, you are engaging in a toxic conversation with your own inner voice. Setting boundaries here means interrupting those thoughts and replacing them with self-respect and encouragement. Treat yourself with the same kindness you expect from others. Learning to stop harmful discussions immediately is not just about avoiding negativity, it is about reclaiming time and energy that can be used for growth. Every minute you save by walking away from gossip or drama is a minute you can spend reading, learning, creating, exercising, or resting. Every ounce of energy you protect becomes fuel for your goals. You cannot build a powerful life while wasting energy on powerless conversations. The truth is, you cannot control what others say, but you can always control whether you listen. Your ears and your attention are valuable, and not everyone deserves access to them. When you withdraw your participation from toxic exchanges, you take away their power. You starve negativity of the attention it craves, and in doing so, you strengthen yourself. Some may accuse you of being distant or cold when you begin setting boundaries, but in reality, you are practicing self-care. You are choosing growth over gossip, peace over conflict, and clarity over confusion. In time, even those who questioned you may come to respect you because strength is attractive and self-control is undeniable. The more you practice this, the easier it becomes. At first you may hesitate, but eventually you will respond with confidence. Saying no to negativity becomes second nature. Walking away from disrespect becomes natural. Protecting your mood becomes automatic. This is how lasting change is built, not through one grand action, but through small daily decisions to honor your own peace. Every day you will encounter opportunities to either guard or give away your energy. The choice is always yours. Will you let toxic conversations steal your time, or will you stand firm in your boundaries? When you remember that your future depends on the quality of your present choices, the answer becomes clear. You cannot allow toxic words to shape your destiny. You must step forward with strength and discipline. Setting clear boundaries is one of the greatest acts of self-love you can practice. It is proof that you value your mental health, your emotional stability, and your future more than the temporary comfort of avoiding conflict. You will find that the more you protect your space, the freer you feel. Your mood will stabilize, your mind will sharpen, and your days will feel lighter. Every time you stop a toxic conversation, you are rewriting the story of your life. You are declaring that you will no longer be a prisoner to other people's negativity. You are building a life filled with respect, peace, and purpose. And with each step, your confidence grows stronger because you know that you are no longer controlled by the words of others. You are guided by the strength within you. Chapter 7. Train your attention and eliminate distractions from your mind. Most people don't realize how much of their potential is lost because they allow distractions to control their attention. Your attention is your most valuable resource because wherever it goes, your energy follows. If your attention is scattered, you will feel scattered. If your attention is sharp and directed, you will feel powerful. Training your attention is not about forcing yourself to work harder. It is about learning how to use your mind with precision. Every day, countless things compete for your focus. Notifications pop up, thoughts wander, people interrupt, and your mind drifts into past regrets or future worries. Unless you take responsibility for your attention, you will keep losing precious time and energy without even noticing. The good news is, attention can be trained like a muscle. When you strengthen it, you discover a level of clarity and control that changes how you live. The first step to training your attention is becoming aware of how often it slips away. Many people underestimate how frequently they drift into distraction. Start paying attention to the small moments. Notice when you pick up your phone without thinking. Notice when you stop reading and your eyes glaze over. Notice when a task takes twice as long because your thoughts keep running in circles. These moments reveal how much of your focus is leaking. The more you notice, the easier it becomes to take control. Awareness alone begins the process of strengthening your attention. You cannot change what you don't see. Once you become aware of where your attention goes, you must practice bringing it back on purpose. Every time you bring your mind back, you are strengthening your focus muscle. This can be as simple as setting a timer and working on one task for 10 minutes without letting yourself switch. When your mind drifts, you gently pull it back without anger or judgment. That single act of returning is training. Over time, those small returns build your endurance. Just like physical training, consistency matters more than perfection. What begins as 10 minutes can grow into 30 minutes, then an hour, then longer stretches of deep concentration. The second step is to design your environment so distractions are minimized before they can grab you. If your phone is always within reach, your attention will always be at risk. If your workspace is cluttered, your mind will mirror that disorder. If you constantly switch between tasks, your brain never fully engages with any of them. Creating an environment that supports focus is not about willpower, it is about removing temptation. Place your phone in another room while you work. Clear your desk before beginning something important. Use apps or tools to block distracting websites. When you eliminate obvious triggers, you protect your attention from unnecessary leaks. Another powerful practice is to set clear intentions for your attention. Many people start their day without deciding what truly deserves their focus, and as a result, they react to whatever comes their way. Begin each day by asking yourself, what 3 things deserve my deepest attention today? Write them down. Keep them visible. When distractions appear, measure them against your list. If they don't align, set them aside. By deciding ahead of time, you guide your energy with purpose instead of scattering it randomly. One of the biggest drains on attention is multitasking. People believe they are getting more done, but in reality, the mind cannot focus deeply on more than one demanding task at a time. Each time you switch, your brain spends energy adjusting, leaving you more tired and less productive. The antidote is single tasking. Give your full attention to one thing at a time. When you write, only write. When you listen, only listen. When you eat, only eat. The simplicity of this practice sharpens your presence and trains your attention to stay rooted in the moment. Another area where attention leaks is mental noise. You may not be distracted by external things, but by the endless stream of thoughts inside your head. Worry, regret, self-doubt, and overthinking all clutter the mind and make focus impossible. This is where mindfulness practices become invaluable. Taking even 5 minutes each day to sit quietly, breathe slowly, and observe your thoughts without getting carried away is one of the most effective ways to train attention. Each time you notice a thought and gently bring your focus back to the breath, you are practicing control. Over time, this builds an inner stillness that supports strong focus in all areas of life. It is also important to give your mind intentional breaks. Attention is not meant to run endlessly without rest. When you push yourself too long, your focus dulls and distractions become more tempting. The solution is strategic recovery. After a block of focused work, step away, stretch, or take a short walk. Allow your mind to reset. These pauses are not wasted time, they are fuel for the next round of focus. The key is to rest deliberately, not by falling into endless scrolling or mindless distractions. True rest refreshes your attention instead of draining it further. Another skill in training attention is learning how to say no. Every request for your time is also a request for your attention. If you constantly say yes to others, your attention will always be pulled away from what truly matters. Saying no is not selfish, it is self-respect. It allows you to protect your limited focus for the tasks, goals, and people that align with your values. Each no creates space for deeper concentration on the yes that matters most. Attention is also tied to your physical state. When your body is tired, hungry, or stressed, it is harder to focus. Prioritizing sleep, healthy food, and exercise strengthens your ability to concentrate. Your brain cannot operate at peak performance if your body is neglected. Even small adjustments, like drinking water, taking deep breaths, or standing up to stretch, can refresh your focus instantly. Caring for your body is caring for your attention. You must also learn how to detach from constant stimulation. Modern life bombards the mind with noise, news, and endless streams of information. If you do not set limits, your attention will always be overwhelmed. Practice digital discipline. Schedule specific times to check messages instead of letting them interrupt your day. Limit the number of times you consume news. Create periods of quiet where you disconnect from screens completely. This digital stillness is where your attention begins to regain strength. Over time, training your attention transforms how you experience life. You stop feeling scattered and start feeling grounded. You begin finishing what you start. You feel calmer, sharper, and more in control. The world no longer pulls you in every direction because you decide where your focus belongs. Attention is not just about productivity, it is about presence. When you train your attention, you learn how to fully experience the moment you are in. You give your best to the task at hand, the person in front of you, and the life you are building. The ability to eliminate distractions and train your attention is one of the most valuable skills you will ever master. It shapes your work, your relationships, your growth, and your happiness. Every moment you reclaim from distraction is a step toward the life you want. Do not wait until later. Begin today. Notice where your focus goes. Practice pulling it back. Design your environment. Set intentions. Choose single tasking. Practice mindfulness. Protect your energy. Rest strategically. Say no when needed. Care for your body. Limit stimulation. Each step makes your attention stronger, and as your attention strengthens, so does your life. When you control your focus, you control your direction. When you eliminate distractions, you gain the clarity to move toward your best future with purpose and power. Chapter 8. Control your reactions and respond with calm under pressure. Life often tests patience in ways that feel sudden and unavoidable. Situations arise that provoke frustration, anger, or fear, and how you respond to these moments determines whether you gain strength or lose control. Most people react instinctively, letting emotions dictate their words and actions. Reacting impulsively creates consequences that often extend far beyond the immediate moment. By contrast, learning to control your reactions under pressure gives you a sense of power and stability that few other skills can provide. Calmness is not a natural default for everyone, but it can be developed through intentional practice and disciplined thinking. The first step in mastering your reactions is awareness. You must recognize the physical and mental signals that indicate rising tension. The racing heart, tight shoulders, shallow breath, or quickening thoughts are all warning signs that you are entering reactive mode. By noticing these signs early, you create the opportunity to intervene before your response is automatic. Awareness is not passive. It is the moment when choice becomes possible. When you pause even briefly before responding, you shift from being controlled by emotion to being guided by reason. Breathing is one of the most immediate tools for regaining control. When pressure mounts, the body naturally goes into fight or flight mode. Slow, deliberate breaths reduce the intensity of this response, lower stress hormones, and allow your mind to focus. Even a few deep breaths can create a space between stimulus and response, giving you a chance to act with clarity rather than reactivity. This simple physical action has profound effects on your ability to maintain composure under challenging circumstances. Another essential strategy is to reframe the situation mentally. Pressure often distorts perception, making events appear more threatening or personal than they truly are. By consciously interpreting the situation differently, you can reduce the emotional charge. Ask yourself what is actually happening, what is within your control, and what lessons can be drawn from the event. This shift in perspective reduces impulsivity and allows you to respond with intention rather than reflex. Preparation also plays a key role in managing reactions. Life will inevitably present high-pressure moments, but anticipating potential triggers equips you to handle them more effectively. Reflect on situations that commonly provoke strong emotions and develop strategies in advance. This might involve rehearsing responses, reminding yourself of long-term priorities, or setting personal rules for conduct. When the moment comes, prior preparation allows you to act with consistency rather than being swept away by surprise. It is important to practice emotional self-regulation regularly. Like physical fitness, the ability to remain calm strengthens with repeated effort. Daily exercises such as mindfulness, meditation, or journaling about emotional responses build resilience. Each time you notice and redirect an emotional impulse, you are training your nervous system to respond differently. Over time, these practices create a natural tendency to remain centered even in tense interactions. Listening carefully is another technique that improves response under pressure. Often, conflict escalates because people react before fully understanding what has been said. By pausing to listen, you gather information, reduce assumptions, and prevent unnecessary misunderstandings. Listening slows the pace of the interaction and allows for a thoughtful response. It is a skill that communicates respect to others and protects your composure at the same time. Self-talk is a powerful tool for controlling reactions. The way you speak to yourself in high-pressure moments influences how you act. Calm, rational self-talk can diffuse tension and keep you focused on solutions rather than blame. Phrases such as "I can handle this" or "this is temporary and manageable" anchor your mind in stability. Conversely, negative or reactive self-talk amplifies stress and increases the likelihood of an impulsive response. Training your internal dialogue is therefore crucial for maintaining calm. Physical preparation also supports emotional control. Adequate rest, proper nutrition, and regular exercise create a foundation for resilience. When the body is fatigued or depleted, stress tolerance drops and reactions become more volatile. By taking care of your physical needs, you strengthen your capacity to stay composed when challenges arise. Emotional control is deeply connected to physical well-being, and neglecting either undermines your ability to respond effectively. Another important element is patience. Most high-pressure situations feel urgent and demand immediate action, but rushing often leads to mistakes or regret. Slowing down your response allows the brain to process information and assess options. Pausing does not mean inaction. It is a deliberate choice to prioritize effectiveness over impulsivity. With practice, you will find that measured responses consistently produce better outcomes than hasty reactions. It is also vital to set personal standards for behavior in stressful moments. Decide in advance what kind of responses align with your values. This might mean refusing to shout, avoiding blame, or staying solution-focused. Having clear standards provides a framework that guides your actions, even when emotions are intense. These principles serve as a compass, ensuring that your behavior reflects strength rather than weakness, and discipline rather than chaos. Emotional detachment from provocation is another critical skill. Not every criticism, insult, or challenge requires a reactive response. Learning to separate yourself from the emotional weight of another person's words allows you to maintain perspective. You respond from choice rather than obligation, and this prevents unnecessary escalation. The ability to observe without absorbing negativity creates an inner space of control that protects your mood and decision-making. Responding with calm under pressure also requires recognizing the long-term consequences of your reactions. Every impulsive response carries ripple effects that can impact relationships, reputation, and opportunities. By considering the future impact, you create motivation to restrain immediate impulses. This forward-thinking approach transforms reactive energy into deliberate action that strengthens both your character and your circumstances. Practicing gratitude, even in tense moments, enhances control. Recognizing small positives or opportunities within challenging situations reduces emotional intensity. Gratitude shifts the focus from frustration to perspective and reinforces resilience. This does not ignore problems, but provides a stabilizing lens through which you can navigate difficulty without losing composure. Seeking constructive solutions rather than dwelling on the problem is another effective approach. Calm responses are rooted in action, not complaint. By directing attention towards solutions, you replace wasted energy with productive effort. This focus on problem-solving keeps emotions in check and increases effectiveness in every challenging encounter. Finally, learning from each situation strengthens future responses. After every high-pressure moment, reflect on what worked, what could be improved, and how you maintained composure. This self-assessment is not about judgment, but about growth. Each experience becomes a training ground, gradually reinforcing the ability to respond with calm under increasing pressure. Mastering your reactions transforms life in profound ways. You gain confidence, reduce stress, protect relationships, and make better decisions. Others notice your steadiness and trust your judgment. Challenges become opportunities to demonstrate strength rather than triggers for chaos. Over time, calm becomes a natural state, and you carry a sense of control into every area of life. With consistent practice, patience, and discipline, responding with calm under pressure becomes not just a skill, but a defining characteristic that shapes your success and personal power. Chapter 9. Track your expenses and manage money with strong discipline. Managing money effectively is one of the most important skills for creating long-term security and freedom. Without discipline, even a high income can disappear quickly, leaving stress and uncertainty in its place. Financial control begins with awareness, and the most basic step is tracking every expense. Most people underestimate how much they spend on small, repeated purchases. Individually, these amounts may seem insignificant, but collectively they can consume a substantial portion of income. Writing down or digitally recording every transaction provides clarity. When you know where every dollar goes, you gain the power to make deliberate decisions instead of reacting blindly to spending impulses. Tracking expenses is not just about recording numbers, it is about understanding patterns. Which areas consume the largest portion of your income? Where do you spend unnecessarily? What recurring costs could be reduced without affecting quality of life? By analyzing these questions, you identify opportunities to redirect money toward more meaningful goals. Awareness alone is empowering because it removes uncertainty and creates a foundation for intentional choices. Once spending patterns are clear, it is easier to establish a budget that aligns with priorities. A budget is not restrictive. It is a roadmap that guides your decisions and prevents wasted resources. Discipline is the next critical step in financial management. Awareness without follow-through is ineffective. Strong discipline requires setting limits and adhering to them consistently. It means resisting the temptation to purchase items you do not need and delaying gratification for larger goals. Discipline is strengthened through practice, and every intentional decision not to overspend reinforces your ability to control money rather than letting it control you. Over time, these small acts of self-control accumulate, creating financial stability and reducing stress. Automation is a practical tool to support disciplined money management. Automatically transferring savings, paying bills, and managing investments reduces the chance of human error or impulsive decisions. When critical financial tasks are automated, you free mental energy for strategic planning and decision-making rather than constantly reacting to deadlines or emergencies. Automation also reinforces consistency, which is essential for building wealth and long-term security. It is also vital to distinguish between needs and wants. Many financial difficulties arise when people confuse temporary desires with essential needs. Needs are necessary for survival and well-being, such as housing, food, transportation, and health. Wants are optional and often driven by social influence or emotion. By clearly separating these categories, you can prioritize spending and avoid draining resources on fleeting pleasures. Developing this clarity strengthens decision-making and enhances overall financial discipline. Saving is another pillar of financial control. Regularly setting aside a portion of income, even if modest at first, builds a safety net and develops the habit of forward thinking. The habit of saving is less about the amount and more about consistency. A disciplined approach ensures that savings grow steadily over time, protecting against emergencies and enabling future opportunities. Without saving, financial management is reactive. With saving, it becomes proactive. Investing wisely is equally essential. Money left idle loses potential value due to inflation and missed growth opportunities. Educating yourself on investment options and taking calculated steps allows your money to work for you rather than only for immediate consumption. Disciplined investing requires patience and research, avoiding impulsive decisions based on trends or fear. The combination of tracking, saving, and investing creates a structured approach that maximizes resources and strengthens financial resilience. Tracking expenses also cultivates accountability. When every transaction is recorded, it becomes harder to ignore poor habits or overspending. You cannot manage what you do not measure. This accountability reinforces conscious decision-making, as each purchase is evaluated against both immediate needs and long-term goals. Regularly reviewing financial statements or tracking tools provides feedback and maintains awareness. Accountability ensures that discipline remains active and consistent, rather than passive or temporary. Another important aspect of financial discipline is setting clear goals. Money management without purpose can feel tedious or restrictive. Goals provide motivation, whether it is paying off debt, building an emergency fund, purchasing a home, or achieving financial independence. Every expense should be considered in light of these objectives. When goals are clear, discipline becomes easier because each decision has context and meaning. Spending becomes intentional rather than impulsive, and money starts to support your vision instead of distracting from it. Financial management also requires emotional control. Impulsive spending often stems from boredom, stress, or the desire for instant gratification. By developing awareness of emotional triggers, you can prevent unnecessary expenses and maintain focus on long-term objectives. This discipline is an extension of self-control that strengthens not only financial stability, but also personal resilience. Regular review and adjustment are necessary components of managing money. Life circumstances, income, and priorities change over time. By reviewing expenses, budgets, and progress toward goals regularly, you ensure that your strategy remains effective. Adjustments are not signs of failure, they are signs of active engagement and responsibility. Regular assessment also allows you to celebrate successes and learn from mistakes, reinforcing commitment to disciplined money management. Debt management is another critical factor. Carrying high-interest debt reduces financial flexibility and creates unnecessary stress. Discipline involves prioritizing repayment and avoiding additional high-interest obligations. Strategic debt management preserves resources, prevents financial erosion, and strengthens long-term stability. Eliminating debt requires focus, patience, and consistency, all of which reinforce broader principles of financial discipline. Developing strong money management habits also influences mindset. When you track every expense, save consistently, invest wisely, and control impulses, you gain confidence in your ability to handle resources. This confidence translates into reduced anxiety, better decision-making, and a proactive approach to opportunities and challenges. The sense of control over money enhances overall life satisfaction because financial uncertainty is reduced. Transparency with yourself and, when necessary, with others is important. Hiding expenses, ignoring bills, or avoiding financial conversations leads to confusion and stress. Honest assessment and clear communication about money matters strengthen personal responsibility and accountability. This honesty is not a burden, but a tool for clarity and empowerment. Consistency is the key to long-term success. Sporadic tracking or occasional budgeting has limited impact. Discipline grows through repeated, deliberate actions. Each day you record an expense, review your finances, save intentionally, or make thoughtful investment choices. You reinforce habits that compound over time. Small, consistent efforts produce results far beyond one-time actions or short-term efforts. Ultimately, mastering money management is about aligning daily actions with long-term vision. Every decision to track an expense, control spending, save or invest builds momentum toward financial security. This is not about restriction or fear, but about empowerment and intentional living. By taking responsibility for every dollar, practicing consistent discipline, and staying focused on goals, you create a life of stability, freedom, and opportunity. The habits developed through careful tracking and disciplined management carry beyond finances and shape character, reinforcing patience, foresight, and self-control that influence every aspect of life. When tracking expenses and managing money with strong discipline becomes habitual, you gain not only financial security, but also clarity, confidence, and peace of mind. The ability to control resources rather than be controlled by them is a form of personal power that touches every area of your life. Every intentional choice compounds, creating a strong foundation for the future, ensuring that your efforts today continue to benefit you for years to come. Chapter 10. Replace negative talk and encourage yourself with positive words. The words you speak to yourself are far more powerful than most people realize because they shape your thoughts, your beliefs, and ultimately your actions. Every statement you make internally acts like a seed planting either growth or limitation. Negative self-talk slowly erodes confidence and drains energy, while positive words inspire courage and reinforce resilience. Learning to replace critical, doubting, or pessimistic statements with affirming, constructive, and empowering language is essential for personal growth. It is not enough to avoid external negativity if your inner dialogue is hostile. Real transformation begins inside, in the private conversations you have with yourself every day. Begin by listening closely to your inner voice. Awareness is the first step, because you cannot change what you do not recognize. Notice when your thoughts focus on failure, blame, or limitation. Pay attention to patterns that undermine your confidence or create unnecessary worry. Simply identifying these moments gives you the ability to intervene. Each recognition is an opportunity to interrupt negativity before it dictates your mood or choices. Awareness is like a flashlight that illuminates the path for intentional change. Once you are aware of negative talk, actively replace it with positive, constructive language. For example, if your mind says you cannot achieve a goal, counter it with evidence of past successes or capability. If your thoughts criticize your appearance, focus on aspects you value or qualities you can improve deliberately. Positive self-talk is not about ignoring reality, but about framing it in a way that empowers action rather than paralysis. Words act as instructions to the mind. When you provide affirming guidance, your brain starts to operate differently. Consistency is crucial. Changing the habitual pattern of self-talk requires repeated effort. Negative language is often automatic because it has been reinforced for years. Each time you consciously choose positive words, you weaken old habits and create new neural pathways. Over time, optimism becomes more natural and self-confidence grows. Discipline in internal language is no different from discipline in physical training. Repeated practice produces measurable results. Use specific language that supports your goals. General statements like "I am okay" or "I am fine" are better than nothing, but do not provide strong direction. Instead, choose phrases like "I am capable of solving this problem" or "I learn from every challenge." Specificity in self-talk creates clarity and purpose. Each statement should reinforce a particular quality, behavior, or mindset that you want to cultivate. Your words guide your energy, so direct them intentionally. Visualization combined with positive language magnifies impact. When you speak affirming statements, imagine yourself acting successfully or achieving the desired outcome. Mental imagery strengthens the connection between your words and your internal belief system. The brain processes imagined success similarly to real experience, reinforcing confidence and motivation. Speaking positively without visualization is effective, but combining both creates a deeper, more tangible change. Surround yourself with reinforcing influences. The people you interact with, the media you consume, and even the written material you read all affect internal dialogue. Exposure to positive messages encourages self-affirmation, while exposure to criticism, negativity, or doubt can reinforce destructive talk. Intentionally curating your environment to support constructive language strengthens the habit of positive self-communication. Practice gratitude alongside positive language. Acknowledging small wins or expressing appreciation shifts focus from lack to abundance. Gratitude statements such as "I am grateful for my ability to learn today" or "I appreciate the progress I have made" foster optimism and enhance motivation. Combining gratitude with self-affirmation multiplies its effect, creating a mindset that sees opportunity instead of limitation. Avoid all or nothing thinking. When changing internal dialogue, it is common to feel pressure to eliminate negative words entirely. This expectation often creates frustration and discouragement. Recognize that occasional negative thoughts are normal. The goal is not perfection but progress. Each time you choose a positive statement over a negative one, you strengthen resilience and reinforce constructive mental habits. Write down affirmations and read them regularly. Writing forces engagement with language and makes positive statements tangible. Place reminders in visible areas to reinforce daily practice. Reading aloud adds additional power because spoken words resonate differently than silent thoughts. Daily repetition embeds these messages into your mind, gradually replacing old patterns of negativity. Challenge limiting beliefs directly with positive language. When a thought arises, such as "I am not good enough," respond with a corrective statement that provides evidence and encouragement. For example, "I am capable and I have overcome challenges before." This active correction teaches the mind that negative statements do not define reality. Over time, this strengthens self-trust and reduces susceptibility to fear or doubt. Pay attention to tone and intensity. Internal speech is often harsher than external speech. Many people would not speak to another person in the critical way they speak to themselves. Softening tone and choosing encouraging words changes emotional impact. Words spoken with kindness and confidence resonate more effectively and reinforce calm, strength, and clarity. Celebrate progress regularly. When you notice yourself choosing positive language instead of defaulting to negativity, acknowledge the achievement. Small recognition strengthens habit formation and reinforces the value of mindful communication. Progress is cumulative. Each success builds momentum toward a stronger and more constructive mindset. Use questions strategically. Internal questions can guide focus and action. Instead of asking "Why do I always fail?" ask "What steps can I take to improve?" or "What can I learn from this experience?" The shift in questioning moves the mind from complaint to solution-oriented thinking, reducing stress and increasing effectiveness. Avoid vague self-criticism. Statements like "I am useless" or "I cannot succeed" are too broad and create hopelessness. Replace them with focused, constructive alternatives such as "I will take one step at a time" or "I can improve with practice." Specific language provides direction and fosters actionable confidence. Anchor positive self-talk to routine activities. During daily habits such as commuting, exercise, or morning routines, integrate affirmations. Regular repetition during predictable times reinforces neural pathways and builds habit consistency. Anchoring practice to daily behavior ensures continuity and long-term adoption. Monitor triggers that provoke negative talk. Certain situations, people, or environments may consistently elicit critical internal dialogue. Recognize patterns and develop strategies to counteract them immediately with positive statements. This proactive approach prevents escalation and maintains mental balance. Engage in supportive dialogue with trusted individuals. Speaking with mentors or friends who reinforce positive perspectives strengthens internal language. Hearing affirming messages externally makes it easier to internalize them internally, creating a reinforcing loop of confidence and motivation. Finally, commit to persistence. Changing internal dialogue is not instantaneous. It requires daily attention, patience, and deliberate practice. Each time negative talk is replaced with positive encouragement, you shift your mindset, your energy, and your behavior. Over time, the cumulative effect transforms self-perception, enhances resilience, and empowers every decision. Positive self-talk becomes a tool that shapes reality rather than allowing external circumstances to dictate emotion or action. The words you choose internally are the foundation of the life you build. Chapter 11. Feed your mind knowledge and grow stronger through learning. The mind is the most valuable tool you possess because it shapes your perceptions, your decisions, and your future. Just as the body grows stronger through proper nutrition and exercise, the mind grows stronger through knowledge and deliberate learning. Feeding your mind is not a passive activity. It is an active commitment to continuous improvement. Every piece of knowledge you acquire builds capacity, sharpens reasoning, and enhances your ability to solve problems. Learning equips you to navigate life with confidence, because informed decisions replace guesswork and uncertainty. The first step in feeding your mind is cultivating curiosity. Curiosity drives exploration and discovery. Ask questions about the world, your environment, and yourself. Observe carefully, read actively, and listen with intent. The desire to understand transforms ordinary experiences into opportunities for growth. Curiosity ensures that learning is not occasional but becomes a natural part of daily life. Without curiosity, even access to knowledge will have limited impact because engagement is superficial. Reading is one of the most effective ways to feed the mind. Books provide depth, perspective, and insight that cannot always be gained from casual observation. Selecting material that challenges your understanding expands intellectual capacity. Focus on quality over quantity. Reading intentionally, reflecting on concepts, and applying them to real-life situations creates lasting mental growth. Passive consumption has little impact. Active engagement with content develops analytical thinking and strengthens memory. Practical application of knowledge is critical. Information that is not used remains dormant. When you learn a principle, strategy, or skill, take immediate steps to implement it in your life. Apply lessons from books, courses, or conversations in small daily actions. The act of applying knowledge reinforces retention, builds confidence, and demonstrates the value of learning. Knowledge without practice remains theoretical. Action transforms learning into power. Engage with mentors and experienced individuals. Learning from those who have walked a path before you accelerates growth. Observing approaches, listening to experiences, and asking thoughtful questions provide insights that might take years to discover independently. Mentorship also challenges assumptions and encourages reflection. Surround yourself with individuals who stimulate thought, offer constructive feedback, and broaden perspective. Interaction with knowledgeable people strengthens your own understanding and sharpens critical thinking. Develop a habit of reflection. Feeding the mind is not just about acquiring information, but about integrating it into understanding. Daily reflection allows you to connect new knowledge with previous experiences, identify patterns, and extract meaning. Journaling insights or summarizing lessons consolidates learning. Reflection transforms scattered information into coherent understanding, strengthening the mind's ability to reason and anticipate. Diverse learning enhances mental strength. Exposure to varied subjects broadens perspective and encourages flexibility in thinking. Explore history, science, philosophy, psychology, finance, or art. Each domain contributes a unique lens for interpreting the world. Cross-disciplinary knowledge increases problem-solving capacity, improves creativity, and reduces bias. Limiting learning to one area narrows vision, whereas diversity fosters adaptability and resilience. Challenge yourself intellectually. Growth occurs outside comfort zones. Engage in exercises that require critical thinking, problem solving, and deep concentration. Complex projects, puzzles, or debates force the mind to stretch beyond habitual patterns. Intellectual discomfort strengthens resilience and builds confidence in facing unfamiliar situations. Avoiding challenge keeps the mind stagnant. Deliberate mental challenge ensures continuous expansion. Teach or share knowledge. Explaining concepts to others reinforces understanding and highlights gaps in comprehension. Teaching transforms passive knowledge into active mastery. Additionally, sharing insights benefits communities, builds influence, and encourages accountability in learning. When you articulate ideas clearly, your mind organizes information more effectively, creating stronger neural connections. Utilize technology wisely. Online courses, educational podcasts, and reputable digital resources expand access to knowledge. Approach these tools deliberately, selecting content that aligns with goals and promotes depth rather than distraction. Structured learning using technology allows for flexible yet focused mental growth. Avoid excessive multitasking when learning digitally, as divided attention diminishes retention. Regularly assess progress. Periodically evaluate what you have learned, how effectively you are applying knowledge, and where gaps remain. Self-assessment ensures that learning remains intentional and relevant. Adjust methods, explore new areas, and refine strategies to maintain momentum. Continuous evaluation reinforces discipline and prevents complacency. Mindset is central to effective learning. Embrace the belief that improvement is always possible. Avoid the assumption that intelligence is fixed. Viewing challenges as opportunities for mental growth fosters resilience and determination. A growth mindset encourages persistence, adaptability, and curiosity, making the pursuit of knowledge a lifelong endeavor. Balance intake with mental rest. The mind absorbs more effectively when it is not fatigued. Adequate sleep, breaks during study, and periods of quiet reflection enhance memory consolidation and comprehension. Overloading the mind without proper recovery reduces effectiveness and can lead to frustration or burnout. Feeding the mind is a combination of acquisition, practice, reflection, and recovery. Critical thinking is an essential component of learning. Question assumptions, analyze sources, and evaluate evidence. Avoid accepting information blindly. Strengthening reasoning ensures that knowledge is not only accumulated but also applied wisely. A strong mind assesses validity, anticipates consequences, and distinguishes fact from opinion. Critical thinking transforms information into actionable wisdom. Develop routines that incorporate learning consistently. Daily habits such as reading for a set period, listening to informative content, or reflecting on experiences create continuity. Small incremental gains accumulate over time, producing substantial mental growth. Discipline in routine ensures that learning is sustained rather than sporadic. Seek challenges that require problem-solving under pressure. Practical application in demanding situations tests understanding and strengthens confidence. Real-world challenges force the integration of knowledge with creativity, planning, and execution. Each successful application reinforces the value of learning and builds resilience. Record and organize insights systematically. Creating notes, summaries, or digital databases allows for easy retrieval and review. Structured organization of knowledge prevents loss of information and supports long-term retention. When the mind can access prior lessons quickly, problem-solving becomes more efficient and effective. Avoid distractions that weaken focus during learning. Interruptions, multitasking, and shallow engagement reduce retention and limit depth of understanding. Create environments conducive to concentration and prioritize uninterrupted time for learning. Focused attention multiplies the benefits of any educational effort. Celebrate progress and growth. Acknowledge new skills acquired, insights gained, and challenges overcome. Recognition reinforces motivation and encourages persistence. Tracking milestones demonstrates the tangible results of feeding the mind and fosters a positive feedback loop that promotes continuous learning. Commit to lifelong learning. Knowledge is not a destination but a journey. The world evolves rapidly, and continuous growth ensures adaptability, relevance, and resilience. Feeding your mind consistently builds mental strength, sharpens judgment, and prepares you to navigate complexity with confidence. Each deliberate step strengthens capability, broadens perspective, and increases potential for success in every area of life. When you actively feed your mind with knowledge and embrace learning as a discipline, you develop clarity, insight, and adaptability that transform both thinking and action. Your mind becomes a powerful tool for solving problems, making decisions, and creating opportunities. The habit of consistent learning shapes character, sharpens reasoning, and equips you to approach life with confidence and competence. Knowledge strengthens every dimension of life, and the deliberate pursuit of it builds an unshakable foundation for personal and professional growth. Chapter 12. Choose patience daily and improve your mood with self-control. Patience is not a passive state, but a conscious choice that shapes how you experience every moment. Daily life presents situations that test tolerance, provoke frustration, or create discomfort. Choosing patience allows you to maintain control over emotions, make clearer decisions, and reduce unnecessary stress. It is closely linked with self-control because every act of patience is a deliberate exercise in restraining immediate impulses in favor of thoughtful response. Developing this ability transforms your mood, interactions, and overall quality of life. The first step in cultivating patience is awareness of emotional triggers. Recognize the circumstances, behaviors, or events that typically provoke impatience. Observing how your body reacts, tightened muscles, quickened breathing, or racing thoughts, alerts you to rising tension. Awareness provides the critical window to respond intentionally rather than reacting reflexively. Each recognition becomes an opportunity to practice restraint and exercise self-control. Breathing exercises are a powerful tool for managing immediate impulses. When impatience rises, taking slow, deliberate breaths reduces stress hormones and slows the mind's automatic reaction. Focused breathing creates space between stimulus and response, allowing rational thought to guide action. This small intervention, consistently applied, develops a natural tendency to remain calm under pressure. Reframing situations mentally enhances patience. Often, impatience arises from viewing circumstances as personal or urgent when they are not. By consciously interpreting challenges as temporary or external rather than threatening, emotional intensity decreases. Ask questions such as, "What can I learn from this?" or "How can I respond effectively?" This mental shift converts potential frustration into an opportunity for growth and clarity. Practice. Delayed gratification. Many acts of impatience stem from a desire for instant results. By intentionally postponing rewards and focusing on long-term objectives, self-control is strengthened. Simple exercises, such as waiting a few extra minutes before responding to messages or resisting unnecessary purchases, build the mental muscle for broader life challenges. Deliberate delay fosters discipline and trains the mind to tolerate discomfort without agitation. Daily routines provide an ideal framework for exercising patience. Integrating small practices into existing habits reinforces consistency. Waiting calmly in lines, listening attentively without interrupting, or completing tasks methodically develops habitual restraint. The accumulation of these small moments creates a resilient mindset that naturally sustains mood stability and emotional control. Mindful attention to the present moment enhances both patience and mood. Focusing fully on the current task or interaction prevents mind wandering that often intensifies frustration. Mindfulness allows the mind to observe sensations, thoughts, and feelings without judgment, creating space for rational choice. This practice reduces reactive behavior and fosters a calmer, more measured approach to daily challenges. Language plays a role in cultivating patience. Internal dialogue that anticipates problems or magnifies inconvenience fuels impatience. Replace critical thoughts with affirming statements that reinforce calm and perspective. Phrases such as "I can handle this calmly" or "I will address this effectively" anchor the mind in self-control and patience. Consistent practice of constructive internal language strengthens emotional resilience over time. Setting realistic expectations is vital. Impatience often arises from expecting outcomes too quickly or assuming others should act according to your timeline. Accepting that processes, people, and circumstances unfold at their own pace reduces frustration. Clarity about what is controllable versus uncontrollable fosters patience and preserves energy for meaningful actions rather than wasted irritation. Reflection strengthens learning from each situation. After moments of impatience, evaluate what triggered the reaction, how it was handled, and how it could be managed better next time. Reflection converts experience into insight and reinforces self-control skills. This practice ensures progress and encourages continuous improvement in managing emotional responses. Gratitude enhances mood and supports patience. Recognizing aspects of life that are positive, even in stressful situations, shifts focus from irritation to appreciation. Gratitude interrupts negative spirals, stabilizes emotions, and strengthens resilience. Incorporating daily expressions of gratitude transforms perspective, making patience more natural and reducing the likelihood of mood swings. Physical well-being supports emotional control. Fatigue, hunger, or illness often lowers tolerance and makes impatience more likely. Maintaining proper sleep, nutrition, and regular physical activity ensures a stable foundation for self-control. A well-cared-for body enhances mental clarity, emotional regulation, and the ability to sustain patience in demanding circumstances. Engaging in perspective-taking promotes patience in interactions with others. Recognizing that people have their own challenges, limitations, and perspectives reduces judgment and frustration. Empathy shifts attention from annoyance to understanding, enabling calmer responses and better communication. Patience in relationships strengthens trust, cooperation, and emotional connection. Focus on solutions rather than dwelling on problems. Impatience often arises from ruminating on obstacles or inconveniences. Direct attention to actionable steps and progress rather than setbacks. Solution-oriented thinking transforms potential frustration into productive energy and supports sustained self-control. Each step taken reinforces confidence and reinforces the habit of patient problem-solving. Consistency in practice is essential. Patience and self-control are developed through repeated, deliberate choices. Each day presents countless small opportunities to exercise restraint and maintain composure. Regularly choosing patience in minor situations reinforces the ability to act calmly in major challenges. Discipline builds gradually, and repeated practice strengthens natural resilience. Anticipate challenges proactively. Identifying potential stresses in advance allows for mental preparation and strategic responses. Preparing strategies for traffic, deadlines, or disagreements reduces the likelihood of reactive impatience. Mental rehearsal equips the mind to remain calm and focused under pressure. Preparation is a practical tool for controlling emotions and sustaining a positive mood. Monitor triggers and patterns. Awareness of recurring circumstances that provoke impatience enables targeted interventions. Journaling or reflection helps identify habits, environments, or thought processes that undermine self-control. Once triggers are understood, deliberate strategies can be applied to maintain composure and improve overall emotional regulation. Celebrate progress in self-control. Acknowledge instances where patience was maintained despite challenges. Recognition reinforces behavior, motivates continued effort, and strengthens mental conditioning. Tracking improvement over time demonstrates tangible benefits and reinforces commitment to emotional mastery. Integrating relaxation techniques strengthens resilience. Practices such as stretching, meditation, or quiet reflection reduce baseline stress and enhance the ability to remain patient in high-pressure situations. Calm physical states support calm mental states, creating a feedback loop that sustains mood and self-control. Finally, commit to viewing patience as a daily discipline rather than an occasional virtue. Each decision to respond thoughtfully instead of impulsively shapes character, emotional stability, and overall quality of life. Self-control fosters a steady mood, improves relationships, and enhances decision-making. With consistent awareness, deliberate practice, and reflection, patience becomes an ingrained strength, transforming both internal experience and external outcomes. Choosing patience daily empowers a life defined by calm, clarity, and constructive action. Chapter 13. Save consistently and create a secure financial foundation. Saving consistently is one of the most powerful habits you can develop because it builds security, confidence, and freedom over time. The ability to set aside money regularly ensures that you are prepared for unexpected expenses, emergencies, and opportunities that require financial readiness. Consistency in saving is more important than the amount initially set aside, because the discipline of repeated action creates long-term results that compound over time. Financial stability begins with intentional choices made every day, every week, and every month. The first step in consistent saving is understanding your income and expenses. Knowing exactly how much money flows in and where it goes provides clarity and control. Tracking spending allows you to identify areas where adjustments are possible and prioritize saving as a non-negotiable habit rather than an afterthought. Awareness of financial reality lays the groundwork for deliberate, disciplined action. Without understanding your cash flow, saving becomes inconsistent and reactive instead of planned and reliable. Automating savings is an effective strategy for consistency. Setting up automatic transfers from checking accounts to savings or investment accounts removes reliance on willpower alone. When savings occur automatically, they become routine and reduce the likelihood of impulsive spending. Automation ensures that the act of saving is prioritized and maintained even during busy or stressful periods, reinforcing the habit without requiring constant decision-making. Start with a specific goal. Clear objectives provide purpose and motivation. Whether building an emergency fund, preparing for retirement, or accumulating capital for investment, having a target keeps saving intentional. Goals also create measurable benchmarks that allow progress to be tracked. Seeing tangible progress reinforces commitment, strengthens discipline, and encourages continued adherence to the saving plan. Prioritize saving as a fixed expense. Treating savings as a non-negotiable bill ensures that money is set aside before discretionary spending occurs. This approach avoids the common pitfall of saving only what is left over, which is often minimal or inconsistent. When saving is intentional and prioritized, financial security becomes attainable rather than a distant aspiration. Cultivate the habit of living below your means. Consistently spending less than what you earn creates the capacity to save. This requires careful consideration of lifestyle choices, distinguishing between essential needs and optional desires. By intentionally limiting unnecessary expenditures, you free resources to allocate toward long-term goals. Living below your means is not deprivation, it is strategic management that strengthens stability and freedom. Track progress regularly. Monitoring savings growth reinforces motivation and identifies areas for adjustment. Reviewing accounts periodically allows evaluation of effectiveness, identification of challenges, and celebration of milestones. Tracking progress transforms saving from a passive activity into an active process, ensuring that goals remain achievable and that discipline remains consistent. Develop multiple saving strategies. Diversifying methods, such as regular deposits into high-yield savings accounts, investment accounts, or retirement plans, enhances security and potential growth. Each method serves a different purpose, from liquidity for emergencies to growth for long-term wealth. Combining multiple strategies strengthens resilience, reduces risk, and provides flexibility in meeting both short-term and long-term objectives. Be mindful of lifestyle inflation. As income increases, the tendency to increase spending proportionally can undermine saving efforts. Maintain disciplined habits regardless of income changes. Instead of immediately expanding expenditures, allocate additional resources towards saving, investment, or debt reduction. This practice accelerates wealth building and reinforces financial security. Emergency funds are a foundational element of a secure financial base. Consistent saving ensures that unexpected expenses, such as medical emergencies, repairs, or job disruptions, do not destabilize your finances. A fully funded emergency fund provides peace of mind and prevents the need to rely on high-interest debt during difficult times. Discipline in saving ensures that such a fund can be created and maintained effectively. Adopt a mindset of long-term perspective. Saving is not about immediate gratification, but about building a foundation that supports future stability and opportunity. Patience and persistence are essential as results accumulate gradually. Viewing saving as a long-term commitment rather than a short-term task fosters consistency and reinforces prudent financial behavior. Educate yourself about financial instruments. Understanding options such as savings accounts, certificates of deposit, bonds, and retirement accounts allows for informed decision-making. Knowledge of interest rates, risk, and growth potential maximizes the effectiveness of saved funds. Educated choices amplify the impact of consistent saving and accelerate progress toward a secure financial foundation. Resist impulsive spending. Discipline in saving requires self-control and conscious decision-making. Before purchasing non-essential items, evaluate whether the expenditure aligns with goals or undermines savings efforts. Every avoided impulse strengthens financial habits and reinforces the principle that money is a tool for creating security rather than temporary satisfaction. Integrate saving with budgeting. A structured budget aligns income, expenses, and saving goals. Allocating specific percentages of income to different priorities ensures that savings remain consistent and protected from competing demands. Budgeting provides visibility, control, and structure, making consistent saving practical and achievable. Celebrate milestones. Recognizing progress reinforces positive behavior and motivates continued commitment. Each increment saved is evidence of discipline, foresight, and control, Celebrating milestones strengthens confidence, maintains enthusiasm, and highlights the tangible benefits of consistent effort. Anticipate major expenses. Planning for anticipated financial obligations, such as taxes, tuition, or large purchases, allows savings to be allocated strategically. Forward planning ensures that routine obligations do not compromise long-term financial security. Anticipation fosters proactive management and reduces stress associated with unexpected or poorly planned expenses. Encourage accountability. Sharing goals with a trusted individual or mentor provides external reinforcement for consistency. Accountability strengthens commitment, introduces support, and provides feedback that encourages disciplined saving behavior. External accountability complements internal discipline, ensuring that saving remains a high priority habit. Adjust strategies when necessary. Life circumstances, income, and priorities change over time. Periodically reviewing and adapting saving strategies ensures that progress continues despite shifts in conditions. Flexibility combined with discipline allows for resilience and sustained growth. Recognize the compounding effect. Small but consistent contributions accumulate over time, producing results that far exceed initial efforts. Understanding the power of compound growth reinforces the value of discipline, patience, and regular saving. Every contribution, regardless of size, contributes to a growing foundation of financial security. Consistent saving transforms financial stress into confidence. The repeated practice of allocating resources intentionally fosters stability, reduces vulnerability, and strengthens control over future outcomes. Saving is both a practical tool and a habit of discipline that supports every aspect of life. A secure financial foundation provides freedom, resilience, and the ability to make decisions from strength rather than necessity. Through deliberate action, commitment to routine, and focus on long-term objectives, consistent saving creates more than just money. It creates stability, peace of mind, and the freedom to pursue meaningful goals. By nurturing the habit of saving, you develop foresight, discipline, and confidence that extend far beyond finances into every dimension of life. Each step, each deposit, and each disciplined decision compounds to produce lasting security and opportunity. Chapter 14. Improve your listening and understand people before answering. Listening is one of the most underappreciated skills because it directly influences understanding, connection, and decision-making. Truly hearing another person requires patience, attention, and a conscious choice to set aside assumptions and personal agendas. Most misunderstandings arise not from what is said, but from what is not properly heard or interpreted. Improving listening is not just about absorbing words. It is about comprehending meaning, context, and emotion. It allows you to respond thoughtfully rather than react impulsively, building trust and deeper relationships. The first step toward better listening is giving full attention. This means minimizing distractions, maintaining eye contact, and focusing on the speaker without planning your response in advance. Multitasking or preparing counter-arguments while someone speaks weakens comprehension and conveys disinterest. Active attention communicates respect and creates an environment where meaningful communication can occur. Observe nonverbal cues. Body language, tone of voice, facial expressions, and gestures provide insight beyond the words themselves. Paying attention to these signals helps you understand underlying emotions, intentions, and emphasis. Awareness of nonverbal communication ensures that your interpretation of the message is more accurate and complete. Practice patience in hearing the full message. Resist the urge to interrupt, finish sentences, or offer advice prematurely. Allowing someone to fully express themselves demonstrates respect and enhances understanding. Patience in listening prevents miscommunication and reduces the likelihood of conflict arising from assumptions or incomplete information. Clarify understanding before responding. Ask questions to ensure you accurately comprehend what has been said. Paraphrasing or summarizing key points confirms your understanding and signals to the speaker that you are engaged. Clarification also prevents misunderstandings and provides an opportunity for correction or elaboration. Suspend judgment while listening. Personal biases and preconceptions can distort interpretation of words. Entering a conversation with an open mind allows you to receive the message as intended rather than through the filter of assumptions. Neutral observation creates the conditions for objective understanding and informed responses. Recognize emotional content. People often communicate feelings as much as facts. Identifying the emotional undertone helps you respond appropriately and empathetically. Responding solely to content without acknowledging emotion can lead to disconnection or conflict. Emotional awareness strengthens relationships and enhances the impact of your responses. Engage in reflective listening. Repeat or rephrase what the speaker has communicated to confirm comprehension. Statements like, "I hear that you are concerned about this," or "you are saying that this is important to you," show attentiveness and validate the speaker's experience. Reflection ensures accurate understanding and encourages more open communication. Minimize assumptions. Avoid filling in gaps with what you think the speaker means. Let the information emerge naturally and resist the impulse to predict or interpret prematurely. Assumptions can distort messages and create unnecessary misunderstandings. Listening with curiosity rather than judgment ensures clarity and prevents conflict. Focus on the present moment. Avoid distractions from previous conversations, unrelated thoughts, or worries about future responses. Concentrate on the words being spoken now and the ideas being conveyed. Full presence enhances comprehension, increases retention, and fosters deeper connection. Control internal reactions. When listening to challenging opinions or critiques, resist the instinct to respond defensively. Maintain composure and focus on understanding the perspective rather than preparing rebuttals. Emotional regulation during listening ensures that responses are rational, measured, and constructive. Use silence strategically. Pausing before answering gives time to process information, consider context, and formulate thoughtful responses. Silence signals attentiveness, encourages deeper expression from the speaker, and allows your mind to organize a clear and measured reply. Engage curiosity. Approach conversations with a genuine desire to understand, rather than to persuade or correct. Asking open-ended questions encourages the speaker to elaborate and provides richer information. Curiosity strengthens comprehension and signals respect for the other person's perspective. Limit personal distractions. Silence notifications. Put aside unrelated tasks and create a conducive environment for focused listening. External distractions reduce comprehension and can convey disinterest. Intentional removal of interruptions reinforces the value of the conversation and enhances the quality of engagement. Recognize patterns in communication. People often convey meaning through recurring phrases, emphasis, or behavioral cues. Identifying these patterns helps anticipate concerns, understand priorities, and respond more effectively. Pattern recognition strengthens listening by allowing the mind to integrate information holistically rather than piecemeal. Take notes when appropriate. Writing down key points reinforces memory and ensures important details are not overlooked. Notes can be referenced later for clarification, planning, or action. Recording information supports comprehension and demonstrates seriousness in receiving the message accurately. Maintain humility. Accept that you may not know everything, and that listening is an opportunity for learning. Approaching conversations with humility fosters receptivity and encourages the speaker to share openly. Humility in listening strengthens relationships, increases understanding, and enhances personal growth. Balance listening with engagement. Nodding, brief affirmations, or reflective comments convey attentiveness without interrupting the flow of communication. Engagement signals active participation and reinforces the speaker's confidence that they are being heard. Appropriate engagement encourages transparency and enriches the dialogue. Avoid multitasking mentally. Even if physically present, letting your mind wander while someone speaks diminishes comprehension. Redirect mental focus entirely to the conversation, absorbing both content and context. Concentrated mental attention ensures accurate understanding and effective responses. Evaluate assumptions after listening. Once the speaker has completed their message, reflect on any assumptions you may have unconsciously made. Adjust interpretations based on actual information rather than initial impressions. This practice prevents miscommunication and promotes clarity in subsequent interactions. Respond thoughtfully rather than reflexively. Once understanding is confirmed, consider your response carefully. Ground replies in accurate comprehension, empathy, and practical solutions. Thoughtful responses strengthen credibility, enhance relationships, and ensure that communication advances constructive outcomes rather than misunderstandings. Seek feedback on understanding. Occasionally confirm with the speaker whether your interpretation aligns with their intent. Feedback provides additional clarity, reinforces effective listening habits, and fosters mutual respect. Engaging in verification ensures that messages are not misinterpreted and that responses are appropriate. Make listening a daily practice. Each interaction is an opportunity to refine skills, increase comprehension, and strengthen relationships. Consistent attention to listening builds a habit of understanding first before reacting, creating a foundation for more effective communication in all areas of life. By prioritizing listening, observing carefully, and responding with thoughtful clarity, you strengthen relationships, reduce conflict, and enhance influence. Improving your ability to understand others before answering transforms communication into a tool for connection, collaboration, and trust. Deliberate practice of listening cultivates patience, empathy, and insight, equipping you to navigate every conversation with wisdom and confidence. Chapter 15. Focus your thoughts and avoid wasting mental energy daily. Focusing your thoughts is essential for maximizing productivity, improving clarity, and maintaining mental strength. The mind has a natural tendency to wander, often dissipating energy on unproductive or unnecessary concerns. Learning to direct mental energy intentionally allows you to prioritize meaningful tasks, solve problems effectively, and maintain emotional balance. Avoiding wasted mental energy requires deliberate practice, self-awareness, and a commitment to mental discipline. When you control where your attention goes, you gain control over your life, decisions, and long-term results. Begin by identifying your priorities each day. Knowing what truly matters allows you to allocate your mental resources toward tasks and decisions that have real impact. Without clear priorities, thoughts scatter, attention weakens, and energy is drained on trivial matters. Defining key objectives gives purpose to your mental focus and ensures that energy is directed intentionally. Practice mindfulness to strengthen concentration. Being fully present in each moment reduces the pull of distractions and negative thoughts. Observing your thoughts without judgment helps recognize patterns of mental wandering. Mindfulness trains the mind to return to the task at hand and minimizes energy lost to unproductive rumination. Limit multitasking. Attempting to handle multiple tasks simultaneously divides attention and reduces efficiency. Focused effort on one task at a time produces higher quality results in less time. Single tasking ensures that mental energy is concentrated rather than scattered, enhancing performance and reducing fatigue. Create an organized environment. External clutter often mirrors internal chaos and promotes distracted thinking. Maintaining a clean, orderly workspace minimizes interruptions and allows the mind to concentrate fully. An organized setting supports mental clarity, facilitates efficient action, and conserves cognitive energy for what truly matters. Set specific time blocks for focused work. Allocate dedicated periods for critical tasks without interruptions or distractions. During these blocks, silence notifications, avoid unnecessary communication, and commit fully to the activity. Structured focus periods reinforce discipline, condition the mind, and enhance sustained attention. Develop mental boundaries. Avoid absorbing excessive negativity, irrelevant opinions, or distractions from external sources. Protecting mental space ensures that energy is not wasted on unproductive or harmful inputs. Boundaries create the mental freedom necessary for deliberate thought and meaningful decision-making. Practice deliberate thinking. Instead of allowing thoughts to drift aimlessly, intentionally direct attention to the problem, decision, or task at hand. Consider options, consequences, and strategies systematically. Purposeful thinking avoids wasted cycles of indecision or unnecessary worry, preserving energy for constructive outcomes. Eliminate unnecessary mental clutter. Identify recurring worries, unproductive debates, or repetitive concerns that do not contribute to goals. Let go of thoughts that offer no value, redirecting energy toward productive reflection and action. Mental decluttering improves clarity, reduces stress, and amplifies the efficiency of focused thinking. Use written planning to manage thoughts. Documenting goals, tasks, and ideas frees cognitive capacity and prevents mental overload. A written plan organizes thoughts externally, allowing the mind to concentrate on execution rather than retention. Recording priorities enhances focus and ensures that attention remains on meaningful actions. Implement short mental breaks strategically. Resting the mind intermittently prevents fatigue and sustains high levels of concentration. Breaks allow the brain to consolidate information, refresh energy, and return to tasks with renewed focus. Structured pauses are not wasted time. They are essential for maintaining sustained mental productivity. Monitor thought patterns daily. Awareness of where attention naturally drifts reveals habits that waste energy. Recognizing patterns such as negative rumination, distraction, or overthinking enables deliberate correction. Self-monitoring cultivates discipline and reinforces habits that direct mental energy efficiently. Practice positive mental framing. Focus on constructive, solution-oriented thoughts rather than dwelling on problems or negative possibilities. Positive focus channels energy toward actionable steps and enhances confidence, motivation, and resilience. Mindset directly affects how energy is spent and whether thoughts generate progress or depletion. Reduce exposure to unnecessary stimulation. Limiting excessive media consumption, trivial debates, or unproductive conversations prevents mental fatigue. Filtering inputs ensures that attention and energy are reserved for meaningful and relevant matters. Selective engagement strengthens focus and conserves cognitive resources. Train attention incrementally. Start with short periods of concentrated thought and gradually extend duration. Consistent practice develops mental endurance and strengthens the brain's capacity to maintain focus over longer intervals. Incremental training builds skill and resilience in managing attention effectively. Use goal visualization to concentrate thoughts. Mentally rehearsing desired outcomes aligns attention, enhances clarity, and strengthens motivation. Visualization allows the mind to organize steps, anticipate challenges, and focus energy on deliberate action. Imagined success guides present behavior and reduces wasted mental effort. Prioritize decision-making. Frequent, low-value decisions drain mental energy unnecessarily. Streamline routine choices and reserve cognitive capacity for critical judgments. Structuring decisions reduces mental fatigue, increases efficiency, and preserves focus for high-impact activities. Anchor focus through rituals. Consistent routines for work, reflection, or study signal the mind to engage fully. Rituals condition attention, create predictability, and reduce energy spent on transition or indecision. Establishing daily patterns enhances the ability to maintain sustained focus without constant effort. Practice self-discipline in thought control. When distractions arise, consciously redirect attention to the task or thought that matters. Avoid giving energy to wandering ideas, trivial concerns, or reactive thoughts. Discipline strengthens mental muscles, making focused thinking habitual rather than forced. Reflect daily on mental efficiency. Review how attention was directed, where energy was wasted, and what adjustments can improve focus tomorrow. Reflection consolidates learning, reinforces good habits, and ensures continuous improvement in managing thoughts and energy. Integrate physical health with mental focus. Adequate sleep, nutrition, and exercise support cognitive performance and reduce susceptibility to distraction. A well-maintained body sustains mental energy and enhances concentration, making focused thought more natural and enduring. Recognize the compounding effect of consistent focus. Small increments of concentrated effort accumulate into substantial progress over time. Directing attention intentionally each day transforms productivity, strengthens self-discipline, and produces results far beyond initial expectations. Eliminate unnecessary worry about uncontrollable factors. Mental energy is wasted when consumed by events outside your influence. Focusing on what can be managed or improved preserves clarity and efficiency. Concentrating on controllable variables enhances effectiveness and reduces stress. Commit to daily practice of focused attention. Each day presents countless opportunities to strengthen discipline, redirect energy, and maintain clarity. Repeated conscious effort reinforces mental habits, ensuring that focus becomes second nature. Consistency transforms energy management into a skill that shapes every aspect of life. By intentionally focusing thoughts, eliminating distractions, and directing energy toward meaningful objectives, mental capacity becomes a tool for progress rather than a source of fatigue. Concentrated attention enhances decision-making, problem-solving, and overall life satisfaction. The consistent exercise of mental discipline ensures that energy is invested wisely, producing results that compound over time and creating a life defined by clarity, purpose, and achievement. Chapter 16. Release resentment quickly and restore your emotional balance. Releasing resentment is essential for maintaining emotional balance, clarity, and personal well-being. Holding on to anger or grudges drains mental energy, affects decision-making, and disrupts inner peace. Resentment keeps you tied to past events, giving control over your emotions to situations or people long after the moment has passed. Learning to let go is not about excusing behavior, but about reclaiming control over your own mind and restoring emotional stability. Each moment spent nurturing resentment is a moment lost from constructive growth, meaningful relationships, and inner harmony. The first step in releasing resentment is acknowledging the emotion honestly. Denying anger or bitterness only allows it to fester beneath the surface, manifesting in subtle ways that impact behavior and thought patterns. Identify the specific incidents, triggers, and feelings associated with resentment. Recognition allows clarity, helping you confront the emotion deliberately rather than unconsciously. Awareness is the foundation for deliberate emotional management. Understand the cost of holding resentment. Mentally and physically, clinging to negative emotions increases stress, affects health, and impairs judgment. Emotionally, it limits joy, satisfaction, and the capacity for connection. By examining the consequences, motivation to release resentment strengthens. The realization that emotional attachment to past grievances undermines your own life fosters determination to let go. Shift perspective to gain clarity. Consider the situation from multiple viewpoints, including the perspective of others involved. Recognizing human imperfection, circumstances, or misunderstandings reduces the intensity of anger. Perspective does not justify wrongdoing, but provides insight, lessening the emotional grip of resentment. Broader understanding fosters empathy and supports emotional balance. Take deliberate action to release negativity. Journaling feelings, verbalizing emotions privately, or speaking with a trusted individual helps externalize anger safely. Expressing emotions constructively prevents internalization and limits long-term harm. Structured release creates a tangible method to process resentment instead of allowing it to linger unconsciously. Practice forgiveness for personal freedom. Forgiveness is not condoning behavior, it is a conscious decision to let go of the mental burden. Holding resentment punishes yourself more than anyone else. By forgiving, you remove the power of past actions over your present emotional state. Freedom from resentment is a choice that restores equilibrium and allows progress. Focus on present priorities. Resentment often traps attention in the past. Redirecting focus to current goals, responsibilities, and relationships reduces mental space occupied by anger. Engaging actively in meaningful endeavors creates momentum that diminishes the influence of negative emotions. Attention directed toward constructive activity naturally erodes resentment. Use deep breathing and mindfulness techniques. Physical control of the body can influence emotional state. Slow, deliberate breathing lowers stress, improves clarity, and supports a calm mindset. Mindfulness cultivates observation without attachment, allowing emotions to be experienced and released without reactionary behavior. Consistent practice reinforces emotional control. Set healthy boundaries to prevent repeated harm. Avoid situations or individuals that perpetuate anger or resentment unnecessarily. Protecting personal space and mental energy ensures that emotional recovery is maintained. Boundaries are a proactive measure that safeguards emotional stability and promotes resilience. Reframe experiences as opportunities for growth. Even difficult or painful interactions contain lessons about patience, communication, or personal values. Viewing challenges as learning experiences reduces emotional attachment to the negative aspects of events. Reframing strengthens perspective and fosters adaptive emotional responses. Engage in physical activity to release tension. Movement channels stress and negative emotion into constructive energy, reducing mental fixation on resentment. Exercise also supports overall mood, releasing endorphins that counteract lingering bitterness. Physical engagement complements cognitive and emotional strategies for letting go. Limit ruminative thinking. Replaying grievances repeatedly reinforces resentment. When intrusive thoughts arise, consciously redirect attention to productive action, goals, or positive reflection. Interrupting rumination breaks habitual thought patterns that maintain bitterness and supports emotional balance. Develop gratitude to counteract negative feelings. Focusing on what is positive in life shifts attention from grudges to appreciation. Gratitude reorients the mind toward constructive and uplifting experiences, reducing the emotional intensity of past offenses. Daily practice of gratitude builds resilience and promotes psychological well-being. Seek resolution when possible. If appropriate, address unresolved conflicts directly with clear, calm communication. Resolution can release lingering tension and clarify misunderstandings. Confrontation with the intent to understand and restore balance strengthens emotional maturity and diminishes resentment's influence. Adopt long-term emotional habits. Consistent reflection, mindfulness, and mental management prevent resentment from accumulating. Daily practice of observation, forgiveness, and reframing creates a stable foundation for emotional equilibrium. Emotional habits build resilience against future triggers, enabling rapid restoration when anger arises. Recognize the impermanence of events. Time and context reduce the significance of most grievances. Viewing situations through the lens of temporality diminishes attachment to negative emotions and allows perspective to soften intensity. Understanding that life is transient supports detachment from resentment. Focus on solutions rather than blame. Direct energy toward actionable steps that improve your situation or well-being. Energy spent assigning fault is wasted if it does not contribute to constructive outcomes. Solution-oriented thinking transforms emotional response into productive action, enhancing control and reducing lingering negativity. Nurture supportive relationships. Surrounding yourself with people who encourage understanding, positivity, and growth reduces the impact of past conflicts. Healthy social connections reinforce perspective, provide guidance, and offer emotional reinforcement for releasing resentment. Community and support accelerate recovery. Commit to self-compassion. Treat yourself with kindness and patience as you process difficult emotions. Emotional recovery requires acknowledgement without judgment. Compassion ensures that letting go of resentment is not rushed or forced, but achieved in a sustainable, respectful manner. Practice visualization techniques. Imagine releasing resentment as a tangible process. Mentally seeing anger leaving the body and mind. Visualization reinforces the decision to let go and strengthens neural pathways that support emotional control. Imagery can accelerate the shift from emotional entanglement to clarity. Reinforce progress through reflection. At the end of each day, note moments where resentment was acknowledged, confronted, or released. Reflecting on improvement reinforces habits, encourages consistency, and strengthens confidence in emotional management. Awareness of progress builds momentum and resilience. Understand that releasing resentment benefits every aspect of life. Emotional freedom improves relationships, enhances focus, and increases overall satisfaction. The energy formerly consumed by bitterness can now be redirected toward goals, creativity, and personal growth. Releasing resentment is not only an act of emotional hygiene, but a strategy for living intentionally and fully. Through consistent practice of awareness, forgiveness, and constructive emotional management, resentment can be released quickly, restoring inner balance and clarity. Emotional equilibrium becomes attainable and sustainable when attention is directed toward understanding, growth, and constructive action. Releasing negativity transforms the mind, enhances resilience, and empowers meaningful engagement with life. Chapter 17. Invest wisely and make money work to serve you. Investing wisely is one of the most powerful ways to ensure financial security and create opportunities for long-term growth. Money left idle may lose value over time, but strategically deployed funds can generate wealth, provide freedom, and reduce stress. Making money work for you requires knowledge, discipline, patience, and a clear understanding of your goals. It is not about taking reckless risks or chasing trends. It is about creating systems that generate consistent returns while preserving capital. Financial empowerment begins with the intention to take control and the willingness to learn and act responsibly. Start by clarifying your financial goals. Define both short-term and long-term objectives, including savings for emergencies, retirement, education, or major life milestones. Clear goals provide direction, helping you determine the appropriate types of investments, risk tolerance, and strategies. Without defined targets, money may be misallocated or underutilized, limiting potential growth. Educate yourself about investment options. Understanding stocks, bonds, mutual funds, real estate, and other instruments allows you to make informed decisions. Knowledge reduces reliance on luck or advice from unreliable sources. The more you learn about how different investments perform, the better you can match your strategy to your goals, risk tolerance, and timeline. Assess your risk tolerance realistically. Every investment carries some level of risk, and each individual has a unique capacity for uncertainty. Avoid taking risks that exceed your comfort or financial capability. Balanced risk management protects capital and prevents emotionally driven decisions that can lead to loss. Diversify your portfolio. Spreading investments across different asset classes reduces exposure to failure in a single area. Diversification provides stability and resilience, ensuring that market fluctuations in one sector do not derail overall progress. Thoughtful allocation balances growth potential with risk management. Develop a consistent investment plan. Regularly contributing to investments, even in small amounts, compounds wealth over time. Consistency outweighs occasional large contributions because steady growth benefits from time and compounding interest. Discipline in investing builds financial stability gradually and reliably. Prioritize long-term thinking. Avoid chasing immediate returns or following short-lived trends. Investment success is built on patience, allowing assets to grow steadily over years rather than reacting impulsively to market noise. Long-term focus reduces stress and increases the probability of significant returns. Monitor and adjust investments periodically. Regular review ensures alignment with goals, performance expectations, and changing circumstances. Adjustments may be necessary due to market shifts, personal milestones, or risk profile changes. Ongoing oversight maintains control and optimizes outcomes without overreacting to short-term fluctuations. Keep emotions separate from financial decisions. Fear and greed often drive poor investment choices. Establish rules for decision-making, such as predefined buy or sell thresholds, to reduce emotional influence. Rational and disciplined actions enhance the likelihood of success and minimize regret. Understand the power of compounding. Reinvesting earnings allows wealth to grow exponentially over time. Compounding rewards patience and consistency, turning modest investments into significant financial resources. Harnessing compounding requires discipline and an understanding that time is one of the greatest assets in wealth building. Manage debt strategically. High-interest debt can undermine investment growth by diverting resources and increasing financial stress. Pay off burdensome liabilities before pursuing aggressive investments. Proper debt management preserves capital, ensures flexibility, and supports sustainable wealth accumulation. Focus on quality investments. Prioritize assets with proven performance, transparent management, and sustainable growth potential. Avoid high-risk speculative ventures unless they align with a small portion of your portfolio. Quality investments reduce volatility and provide predictable returns, protecting financial security. Leverage professional guidance when appropriate. Financial advisors, investment courses, and credible resources can enhance understanding and help optimize strategies. Seek advice from trusted, knowledgeable professionals while maintaining the responsibility to make independent, informed decisions. Guidance complements knowledge but should not replace critical evaluation. Control costs associated with investing. Fees, commissions, and taxes can erode returns if not carefully managed. Choose investment options that provide value relative to costs and understand the impact of fees on long-term growth. Cost management maximizes returns without unnecessary losses. Establish an emergency fund before heavy investing. Securing a buffer protects against unexpected expenses and reduces the need to liquidate investments prematurely. A safety net maintains financial stability and ensures investments have the time needed to generate returns. Track and evaluate performance objectively. Use measurable criteria to determine the effectiveness of each investment relative to goals. Regular evaluation prevents stagnation and identifies opportunities for improvement. Objective tracking removes bias and supports informed decision-making. Stay informed about economic trends. Awareness of inflation, interest rates, policy changes, and market conditions helps anticipate shifts that may affect investments. Knowledge allows proactive adjustments rather than reactive responses, preserving wealth and maximizing growth opportunities. Invest with purpose, not impulse. Every financial move should serve specific objectives and align with overall strategy. Avoid spending energy and resources on investments that do not contribute to goals. Intentional investment ensures that money works efficiently and consistently toward your benefit. Protect capital with insurance and safeguards. Unforeseen events can jeopardize wealth if proper protection is not in place. Insurance, emergency reserves, and contingency planning shield investments from avoidable losses, maintaining progress toward financial objectives. Develop patience and persistence. Building wealth through investment is rarely instant. Maintaining commitment, despite fluctuations or setbacks, ensures steady accumulation and long-term success. Patience allows compounding and strategic adjustments to deliver meaningful outcomes over time. Reinvest profits thoughtfully. Growth achieved from investments should be strategically directed to amplify wealth. Avoid impulsive consumption of returns that diminishes long-term potential. Reinvestment accelerates financial independence and reinforces the principle of making money serve you actively. Evaluate risk versus reward constantly. Balance the potential gains of each investment with possible downsides. Conservative choices protect capital, while growth-focused options provide opportunity. Strategic evaluation ensures that risk aligns with goals and personal comfort, maintaining control over financial destiny. Commit to continuous learning. Financial markets, instruments, and strategies evolve over time. Staying informed, learning from experience, and refining approaches enhances decision-making and ensures sustained growth. Knowledge is the foundation that enables money to work effectively on your behalf. By investing wisely, managing risks, and directing resources strategically, money becomes a tool rather than a constraint. Controlled and informed investment decisions create wealth that supports goals, personal freedom, and future security. Making money work for you is a combination of discipline, knowledge, patience, and proactive planning, enabling financial independence and empowering life choices with confidence. Chapter 18. Speak truth kindly and strengthen trust in every relationship. Speaking truth kindly is a fundamental skill that builds integrity, strengthens trust, and nurtures meaningful relationships. Honesty is important, but the way truth is delivered determines whether it fosters connection or creates distance. Speaking harshly or without consideration can damage relationships even when facts are accurate. Conversely, conveying truth with empathy and respect encourages understanding, collaboration, and long-term trust. Learning to balance honesty with kindness requires awareness, patience, and practice, but the benefits are transformative for both personal and professional interactions. Begin by understanding the value of trust. Trust is the foundation of every strong relationship. When others believe your words are truthful and delivered with care, they feel safe, respected, and valued. Building trust is not instantaneous. It is earned through consistent behavior that demonstrates honesty, reliability, and respect. Each interaction offers an opportunity to reinforce credibility and strengthen bonds. Focus on clarity before speaking. Consider exactly what you want to communicate and why. Avoid vague statements or incomplete information that can create confusion. Clear communication minimizes misunderstandings and ensures that your words have the intended effect. Thinking before speaking is a simple but powerful practice that preserves relationships and reinforces trustworthiness. Choose the right timing and environment. Sensitive conversations require careful consideration of context. Delivering important truths in rushed or public situations can provoke defensiveness and conflict. Finding the appropriate time and private setting allows the other person to receive your message without feeling ambushed. Timing affects the impact of words and the willingness of others to engage constructively. Speak with empathy. Consider the feelings, perspective, and experiences of the person receiving your message. Empathy shapes tone, word choice, and delivery, transforming potentially difficult truths into opportunities for connection and growth. Understanding the emotional impact of your words reduces defensiveness and enhances receptivity. Use I statements to communicate your truth. Framing statements from your own perspective emphasizes personal experience rather than assigning blame. For example, saying, "I feel concerned about this issue," conveys honesty without provoking defensiveness. Personal framing encourages dialogue rather than argument, allowing the truth to be heard respectfully. Maintain calm and controlled tone. Emotions influence how messages are received. Speaking with composure demonstrates self-control and respect, even in challenging conversations. A calm delivery emphasizes the sincerity of your message and ensures that the focus remains on the content rather than emotional escalation. Practice active listening alongside speaking. Trust grows when people feel heard and understood. Responding to questions, acknowledging concerns, and validating feelings shows that your honesty is coupled with respect. Listening before and during conversations allows your words to be more precise and considerate, reinforcing relational strength. Avoid unnecessary criticism or judgment. Focus on facts and observable behaviors rather than making assumptions or personal attacks. Criticism framed constructively supports problem-solving and growth, while preserving dignity. Delivering truth without judgment encourages openness and reduces resistance to feedback. Balance honesty with tact. There is a difference between being brutally honest and speaking the truth kindly. Choose words carefully to convey facts while minimizing potential harm. Thoughtful phrasing ensures that your truth is received with clarity, respect, and receptivity. Offer solutions or constructive guidance when possible. Sharing a truth without direction can create tension or helplessness. Pairing honesty with actionable suggestions demonstrates care and engagement. Providing ways forward reinforces that your intent is supportive rather than punitive. Be consistent in honesty. Trust is reinforced when words and actions align over time. Avoid saying one thing and doing another, as inconsistency erodes credibility. Consistency builds reliability, signaling to others that they can count on your honesty and integrity in every interaction. Adapt communication style to the audience. Different people respond to different approaches. Adjusting tone, pace, and phrasing to match the listener increases the likelihood that your truth will be received constructively. Flexibility in communication demonstrates respect and emotional intelligence. Avoid gossip or unnecessary disclosure. Truth shared without purpose can damage reputations and relationships. Speak only when your message contributes positively or clarifies important matters. Thoughtful discretion maintains trust and prevents misuse of honesty. Recognize the emotional impact of truth. Some truths may be difficult to hear. Prepare to support others emotionally when delivering sensitive information. Compassionate acknowledgement of potential discomfort demonstrates maturity, strengthens trust, and fosters deeper connections. Encourage dialogue rather than monologue. Invite questions, clarifications, or feedback to ensure that your truth is understood accurately. Collaborative discussion allows others to process information and respond constructively. Dialogue enhances understanding and reduces misunderstandings that could weaken trust. Reflect on intentions before speaking. Ensure that honesty is motivated by care, respect, and constructive purpose, rather than self-interest or vindication. Intent shapes delivery, tone, and outcome. Honest communication guided by positive intentions strengthens relationships rather than creating conflict. Practice humility in delivering truth. Acknowledge limitations in your perspective and openness to other viewpoints. Humility fosters receptivity and reduces defensiveness, creating space for mutual understanding. Sharing truth with humility encourages dialogue and builds respect. Follow up after critical conversations. Revisit discussions to reinforce understanding, provide support, and demonstrate continued engagement. Follow-up shows reliability and dedication to the relationship, reinforcing trust and validating the importance of your words. Model truthfulness in daily interactions. Consistently embody honesty in small and large matters to establish a reputation of integrity. Observing genuine honesty encourages others to reciprocate and strengthens the overall culture of trust within relationships. Commit to continuous improvement in communication. Honest, kind speech is a skill that develops over time through reflection, practice, and learning from experience. Seek feedback, observe outcomes, and refine approaches to enhance clarity, empathy, and effectiveness. Continuous growth ensures that truth becomes a consistent tool for building connection and respect. Speaking truth kindly transforms relationships, fosters trust, and creates environments where honesty and respect coexist. Thoughtful, empathetic, and intentional communication strengthens bonds, improves collaboration, and enhances personal credibility. Mastering the balance between honesty and kindness empowers meaningful dialogue, promotes understanding, and establishes trust as a foundation for enduring and fulfilling relationships. Chapter 19. Direct your mental energy and achieve progress with discipline. Discipline is the bridge between the energy of the mind and the results you want to see in your life. Without direction, mental energy is scattered, unfocused, and easily consumed by distractions. When you learn to direct it with discipline, every thought, every choice, and every action begins to serve a greater purpose. Progress is not about sudden bursts of motivation or occasional effort. It is the result of consistent, deliberate use of your energy toward meaningful goals. The mind is a powerful force, but without discipline, its potential remains untapped. The first step toward mastering this principle is to acknowledge how much energy is wasted in unstructured thinking. Worrying about the future, replaying past mistakes, or indulging in trivial distractions consumes mental space and leaves you drained. When discipline is absent, the mind runs in circles, creating effort without movement. But once discipline is applied, energy flows in one direction, aligned with intention, creating momentum that cannot be ignored. Directing mental energy begins with clarity. You cannot discipline your mind without knowing what you want to achieve. A clear goal acts like a compass, providing direction and purpose to your focus. Without clarity, discipline feels restrictive, but with clarity it becomes empowering. It is not about suppressing freedom. It is about choosing to channel freedom into actions that lead to results. The clearer the vision, the easier it becomes to direct your thoughts toward it. Discipline is not about rigid self-denial, but about alignment with values and aspirations. Every act of discipline is a choice to prioritize the long-term over the temporary, the meaningful over the trivial. When you decide to read a book instead of scrolling aimlessly, to exercise instead of making excuses, or to focus on a task instead of procrastinating, you are directing your mental energy toward progress. These small decisions accumulate into habits, and habits build character. The mind resists discipline at first because it craves comfort and familiarity. It takes effort to retrain thoughts and redirect impulses. This is where patience is essential. Discipline is not developed in a single day, but through repeated practice. Every time you resist distraction, every time you follow through on a commitment, you strengthen your ability to direct energy where it matters. Progress may feel slow, but the compounding effect of disciplined effort is what produces lasting transformation. A powerful way to conserve and direct mental energy is through routines. Routines eliminate unnecessary decision-making and reduce wasted effort. When you create structure in your day, discipline becomes easier because the path is already set. Instead of battling with choices every moment, you simply follow the system you've established. Mental energy is preserved for higher priorities rather than drained by trivial decisions. Another key element is self-control. Discipline requires the ability to delay gratification, to endure temporary discomfort for greater future rewards. This doesn't mean denying yourself joy, but learning to recognize which pleasures are fleeting and which contribute to lasting fulfillment. Self-control keeps energy from being consumed by impulses that lead nowhere. It allows you to say no to what distracts so you can say yes to what truly matters. Progress becomes inevitable when discipline is paired with consistency. Energy directed once creates movement, but energy directed daily creates transformation. Discipline gives structure to effort, and consistency turns that structure into results. Every day you choose to discipline your thoughts, you carve a path forward, and over time that path leads to visible progress. The disciplined person understands that achievement is not a single act, but the accumulation of many disciplined acts over time. An important part of directing mental energy is protecting it from unnecessary drains, negative environments, unproductive conversations, and toxic influences can consume energy that should be directed toward growth. Discipline includes setting boundaries, knowing what to engage with and what to avoid. When you guard your mental space, you ensure that energy is reserved for activities that align with your purpose. Reflection strengthens discipline by revealing where your energy is going. Taking time to evaluate your daily choices helps you see patterns of waste and areas for improvement. Honest reflection shows whether you are directing your energy effectively or letting it slip into distractions. With awareness, you can adjust and redirect before too much is lost. Discipline without reflection can become mechanical, but with reflection it becomes intelligent and adaptable. Mental energy also thrives when paired with physical discipline. The body and mind are deeply connected. Proper rest, healthy nutrition, and regular exercise sharpen focus and enhance self-control. Neglecting the body weakens discipline because fatigue and poor health diminish mental clarity. By maintaining discipline in physical habits, you support the mind's ability to stay sharp, focused, and directed. Another essential factor is commitment. Discipline becomes sustainable when you are deeply committed to your goals. Surface-level desires rarely produce lasting discipline because they crumble at the first sign of difficulty. A strong commitment anchors your discipline in purpose, giving you the strength to stay focused even when progress feels slow. When your goal is tied to your identity, discipline becomes less about effort and more about alignment with who you choose to be. It is also important to understand that discipline grows stronger through small victories. Every time you follow through on a promise to yourself, you build confidence in your ability to stay consistent. Each small success reinforces discipline, making the next challenge easier to overcome. These small wins are proof to yourself that your energy is being directed in the right way. Over time, they accumulate into large achievements that reshape your life. Discipline also requires flexibility. Directing mental energy does not mean being rigid or unbending. It means staying focused while remaining adaptable to circumstances. If a plan doesn't work, discipline allows you to adjust while still moving forward. Rigidity breaks under pressure, but disciplined flexibility bends without losing direction. This balance ensures that progress continues even in the face of obstacles. One of the greatest rewards of discipline is peace of mind. When your energy is directed with intention, you feel a sense of control and clarity. You no longer feel scattered or overwhelmed, because you know your effort has purpose. This inner stability enhances confidence and reduces stress, allowing you to perform at your best. Progress achieved through discipline is not just external, it transforms your inner state as well. Finally, discipline creates freedom. At first glance, discipline may seem like restriction, but in reality it liberates you from chaos and wasted potential. By directing your mental energy with discipline, you gain freedom from procrastination, regret, and disorder. You gain the freedom to focus on what matters most, to achieve meaningful progress, and to live with purpose. When you learn to discipline your mind, you unlock the ability to transform your energy into action and your action into results. Directing mental energy with discipline is not a burden, but a tool that allows you to create the life you desire. Each moment of focus, each decision to resist distraction, each act of consistency builds momentum toward your vision. Progress is no longer a distant dream, but a natural outcome of disciplined living. And as discipline strengthens, so does your capacity to grow, achieve, and live with fulfillment. Chapter 20. Build emotional resilience and stay steady in life's challenges. Life often feels like a storm, unpredictable and filled with sudden turns. Yet your strength is not measured by how well you avoid the storm, but by how firmly you stand while it passes. Building emotional resilience is the art of becoming steady when life feels unsteady. It is not about denying the pain of difficulties, but about shaping the kind of inner character that can absorb shocks without breaking. adapt without losing dignity, and find clarity even when circumstances are clouded with uncertainty. Every challenge you face is an opportunity to practice this steadiness, and every difficulty you endure without falling apart strengthens the foundation you stand on. Resilience does not appear overnight. It grows through consistent effort, reflection, and the choice to keep going when things seem overwhelming. One of the first steps toward resilience is accepting that challenges are a part of life. The more you resist the fact that difficulties exist, the more drained you feel by them. But when you shift your perspective and see obstacles as part of the human experience, you begin to meet them with less fear and more courage. This doesn't mean you will stop feeling disappointment, sadness, or frustration, but it does mean those feelings will not consume you. Emotional steadiness comes from allowing feelings to pass through you without letting them anchor you down. It is about giving yourself permission to feel, but not permission to be controlled by what you feel. When you encounter setbacks, whether financial, relational, or personal, resilience asks you to look beyond the immediate discomfort and focus on what can still be done. Dwelling endlessly on what went wrong leaves you trapped in the past, but asking yourself, "What can I do next?" pulls your attention back to the present, where progress is possible. This forward-focused mindset shifts your energy away from regret and toward constructive action. Small, consistent actions taken in the middle of hard times give you a sense of control and rebuild your confidence in your ability to endure. Another part of building resilience is practicing flexibility in your thinking. Rigid expectations about how life must unfold make every detour feel like a personal disaster. But when you cultivate adaptability, you learn to adjust without breaking. Life rarely goes according to exact plans, and the people who thrive are not always the strongest, but the ones who can bend without losing their shape. If one path closes, resilience allows you to look for another route instead of giving up. Flexibility keeps your mind creative, solutions-focused, and open to opportunities you might otherwise miss. Resilience also grows stronger when you take care of your body and mind. Stress weakens your ability to cope, but rest, proper nutrition, and movement replenish your strength. It's easier to lose your emotional balance when you're exhausted, hungry, or overwhelmed by overstimulation. By respecting your physical needs, you make it possible to face life's challenges with clarity instead of chaos. In the same way, creating mental space through quiet reflection, journaling, or stillness gives you the capacity to sort through your thoughts and reduce the weight of your burdens. Emotional steadiness is built on this simple but powerful foundation, taking care of yourself before you attempt to face everything else. At the core of resilience is also the way you talk to yourself during difficult times. Negative self-talk magnifies pain and convinces you that you cannot rise again. But speaking to yourself with encouragement changes your perspective. Telling yourself, "I can handle this," or "I will get through this one step at a time," reinforces belief in your strength. It does not erase the challenge, but it strengthens the mindset needed to endure it. Resilient people are not those who never doubt. They are those who keep reminding themselves of their ability to rise, despite its doubts. The words you use with yourself are either weapons that wound you further, or tools that heal you and help you keep moving. Building resilience is also about developing a deeper sense of meaning in life. When you connect your struggles to a larger purpose, whether that purpose comes from faith, family, personal growth, or contribution to others, you find strength that goes beyond the immediate situation. Having a reason to continue creates motivation to withstand pain. Without meaning, hardships feel empty and endless. With meaning, they become challenges that refine and prepare you for something greater. Resilience is nurtured by perspective, the ability to step back and see the bigger picture instead of only the difficulty of the present moment. It's equally important to surround yourself with supportive relationships. Emotional steadiness is not built in isolation. Having someone to talk to, whether a friend, mentor, or loved one, can lighten the burden of hard times. Resilient people know how to lean on others without becoming dependent on them. They seek encouragement, perspective, and companionship during struggles, understanding that strength is not the absence of needing help, but the willingness to accept it when needed. Even when you cannot change your circumstances, sharing your load with someone you trust helps restore balance to your emotions. Resentment, bitterness, and grudges can weaken resilience because they drain your energy and keep you tied to negativity. To stay steady, you must learn the discipline of releasing unnecessary emotional weight. Forgiveness is not about excusing wrongs, but about freeing yourself from being imprisoned by them. Carrying anger makes you less able to face new challenges with clarity. By letting go of the past quickly, you preserve your strength for the present. Emotional resilience is not about never being hurt, but about refusing to stay stuck in that hurt longer than necessary. Another key aspect of resilience is building patience with the process of recovery. Progress often takes longer than you would like. Quick fixes rarely create lasting stability. True steadiness comes from learning to endure discomfort without demanding instant relief. Patience allows you to heal gradually, adjust slowly, and regain your strength at the right pace. Every step forward, no matter how small, is progress when you are moving through difficulty. Without patience, you become frustrated, but with it you build trust in yourself and in the process of overcoming. Every challenge in life becomes a classroom for resilience if you approach it with openness instead of resistance. Each time you fall and rise again, you reinforce your ability to handle adversity. Each time you choose calmness instead of panic, you strengthen your emotional muscles. Each time you take responsibility instead of blaming, you reclaim your power to shape your life. Resilience is not a gift given to a few. It is a skill anyone can develop through practice. It is built through the daily decision to remain steady, even when the world around you feels unstable. In the end, emotional resilience gives you more than just the ability to withstand challenges. It gives you freedom. Freedom from being controlled by circumstances, freedom from being defined by pain, and freedom to move forward with hope even when life feels uncertain. Steadiness is not about avoiding hardships, but about carrying yourself through them with dignity and strength. The more you practice resilience, the more you realize that no storm lasts forever and no difficulty is greater than your capacity to grow through it. When you build this kind of inner strength, you create a life that cannot be easily shaken, no matter what challenges come your way.